Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company, unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. With Mr. and Mrs. E.
Launch sequence activated. Prepare for light speed.
Intelligent, keeping the missing relevant with Mr. E, Mrs. E. Let's not forget the sweet and E, and of course the best granny, unraveling these mysteries. Stay a while and share your thoughts. Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company, unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E.
Auntie, is that you? Yes. Bring in the crime dogs. It's time.
Unraveling these mysteries. Stay a while and share your thoughts. Help us break down this mystery. Grab a seat, we guarantee you're in wonderful company, unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E. Unraveling these mysteries with Mr. and Mrs. E.
All right. I don't know how to do that part.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. We're just a little late here, but thank you for coming in, everybody. I'm Mr. E with the Mr. E Crimecast. I'm joined tonight by Mrs. E and, of course, our guest Auntie, who I didn't think we were going to get tonight, but we did. So
yeah, I opted out on hockey tonight. I just didn't have it in me tonight to go to hockey. So
okay, well, that's great for us. So I'm sorry you're missing your game, but I'm glad you could be here.
I wasn't in the fields for the hockey tonight.
Okay, great. Well, we do have a lot planned tonight. I'll tell you what our thought is on tonight's live stream is we basically in a lot of ways have not covered Sebastian's story for almost a month because the last 3 lives we did over the last month, we're all kind of getting through all the Rico stuff, and now that that's kind of all wrapped up, we'd like to kind of go back and kind of dive into some of these developments that have all happened. Everything from the Billboards to Katie speeding through the neighborhood on camera, and interviews, and Deception Detective, and Coffin Daffer, and just all kinds of great stuff that's been out there. We're going to kind of if you've maybe been out of the story for the last month or so, this might be a good time to be here with us. And I do just want to say I do see all the orange hearts and all the prayers from everybody in the chat. We do appreciate that so much. So good to see you here, Heather and Car Guy. It was good to see you again the other day. Deanna, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom, Marina Girl, let's see, Moonflower and Medicine Man, True Crime with Sweet Melissa. Good to see you as well. Pippi Strange.
Strong.
Oh, Strange.
Mhm.
Little Miss Sunshine.
Peggy Koch.
Diane Highland, probably. Peggy. Mel S. Good to see you in here too.
Little Miss Sunshine.
Yeah, so we do appreciate everybody being here, and hello to you too, Bluegrass Meadows.
And Country Guy became a new member. Thank you, Country Guy. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Country Guy. We really do appreciate that very much.
And Lady Freedom's Raw Narratives is here. Hi, Lady Freedom. Welcome. West End, Heather. Let's see.
Unicorn
Diane,
of
thanks
Hope.
for earlier texting or chatting with us to make sure our chat was working. We were having some technical difficulties, and that's why we were a few minutes late. We couldn't get our YouTube studio to work correctly. So thank you so much.
Having just a little trouble there, but we think we got it all set up now. I know most of you probably saw our post today, but if you didn't, we are going to ask tonight that if you would just pray for my family and my son in particular. Tomorrow we are getting his first MRI since surgery last winter, and it's a big one. So we'll be doing that tomorrow morning. That's kind of why we're going a little earlier tonight than normal, because we've got to get to bed kind of early. And so if you do pray, and we do appreciate you just taking a moment tonight to think of him, and tomorrow morning, if that'd be great also. But anything else you want to add before we get going into the?
Well, our lovely Sharon Marlowe gave us a $10 super chat.
Thank you so much, Sharon.
And she says, prayers going up to you and your family. Thank you so much, Sharon. We appreciate you so much.
Yeah, we do appreciate it. And we do believe in the power of prayer. So I appreciate it very much.
You know what? It's about midway through April, almost towards the end of April, and I haven't given away memberships yet.
Oh yeah.
Well, how about I do that first? Is that okay with you?
That'd be great.
Okay, great. All right, I have to.
Yeah, use them or lose them, right?
Right.
You can't just save them up.
All right, here's the first 5. Hi, Purple World. Let's see who got them. Hi, Old McMary. Mel S. Awesome. Moonflower Medicine Man. Lee Zimmerman. Mickey Shell and L Fig. Welcome. Welcome to the Crime Dogs. I'm going to go ahead and do 10 more or 5 more and be done.
Yeah.
With my freebies. All right. Let's see who got them. Tracy, Mom of an Angel, Crazy Wheels, Sharon Marlowe, yay! All right, Lady Freedom, yay! Tori Banks, yay! Welcome. Great. That's awesome.
Great.
Well, we're happy to have you. I forgot what I was going to say. We tried to do a monthly trivia stream, but I have to be honest with you, we haven't had
It's not been ever since Christmas and all that happened. We really haven't been able to focus on getting that trivia done. So we've got to get back on that this
Yeah.
spring.
I think we have a good day tomorrow, which we expect and believe we will be. We'll maybe we'll be functioning a little better.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, quite frankly, we've been distracted.
Yeah, we have. So,
and you know, today's actually been a hard day just anticipating what we have to deal with tomorrow. So
it has. So, actually, I think tonight will be a nice distraction for us to get into the case here a bit, and you know, and that'll be good. Distractions are a good thing sometimes, and that when we can do them.
Aw. Well, thank you guys so much. And we appreciate all of our members and all of our subscribers and all of you in chat and our moderators. Real Me Too's here, our buddy.
Real Me Too. Good to see you
our
as always.
Big support system. Real Me Too. I just dropped my phone. Sorry.
Thank you, Real Me Too, for saying hello. So we know our chat's working. We had some problems earlier.
All right. I didn't know where you wanted to get started.
Well, I mean, we could almost start anywhere. I think I might start with this. Did we talk about her at all last time, or am I crazy?
I don't think we did at all.
Okay, so
well, no, maybe 2 ago.
Oh, we did.
We met. You know what? It's all running together for me now. I don't remember. I know you and I
don't know what you're talking about.
specifically talked about her. So if she doesn't know, then
if Auntie. Sometime. Well, how do I add this to stage? I've forgotten already.
What are we talking about?
You forgot how to do this. Oh, you can't see it. That's why you don't know.
I can't see anything.
Let me see if I can.
You know what? While he's doing that,
I'm
gonna
present, right?
Yeah. While he's doing that, I'm gonna play our crime dog video welcome because we haven't done that in a while. So
share screen. Is that what
you're having so many problems? Okay, this is for all of our new members.
We got a bunch of them.
Yeah. Let's see.
Welcome to the dog pound. Your crime dog now. Members only. Welcome to the dog pound. Your crime dog now. Members only. Welcome to the pound. Members only. Bow wow 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 wow. Doo 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 doo.
All right.
Well, I did finally figure it out. It just took me a second there.
We did not talk about this last time. I think we talked about it off camera.
Well, when you were visiting, we talked about it.
That's what I couldn't remember.
Yes,
so we didn't actually
not brought it to air. No.
Okay. Because a lot of times we talk about things off air that we're going to talk about on the show, and I couldn't remember if we actually talked about it during the stream or not. But
we did talk about it at length off screen. We were pulling it up and looking at it and searching and not really finding anything.
Yeah, and I shared it on Twitter, so I put this lady's picture out there. But before we get into, I'll just leave this up anyway because she is still, from what I could tell today, still missing. And so maybe you've seen her. She is in Middle Tennessee, or last seen in Gallatin, Tennessee, which is also in Sumner County where Sebastian went missing. And the reason I sometimes kind of focus on these that are, if they're in this area, because there are a lot of people following our channel because they do live in the Middle Tennessee area. So you never know, you might see this young woman.
Cece just said, I'm from Sumner County and haven't heard anything about this girl. And that was our concern as well.
Yeah, that's actually why we're going to kind of start our stream talking about this, because it's going to kind of lead into some other things. But I'm just going to leave her picture up here while I address something else first. But we in general, when we have rumors come out or people just kind of make up things that we've said or whatever, that kind of stuff happens. Our approach has always been just to not address it, because you can't ever really you can't. If somebody comes out and says something like Mr. E is a gang member or something,
I think you use gang lord or
a kingpin, or whatever. Somebody throws that out there. You can't, if you come on and you say, well, I just want to address the rumor, I am not a kingpin or a drug lord or whatever. There's no, it really doesn't do anything. There's no point. You're just constantly addressing rumors or whatever.
What you said is you
And-
can't prove a negative.
Yeah, and you can't prove a negative. I mean, I can't prove to you that I'm not in a gang, right? I can just tell you, and then you believe it or not. So you're either going to believe the rumor you heard in the first place, or you won't. So we just usually, when that kind of stuff happens, we usually just kind of laugh about it, move on. There's no point in usually addressing it. But there's one that's been kind of persistent, and I've heard it enough times, and I've heard it with other creators too, that we've signed NDAs. I've had this question a bit for the last few weeks, so I don't know where this has come from originally. But I saw Lore Lodge get this question on X today.
Yeah.
So it's kind of going around, and there, I understand why, to a certain extent, why it's out there, because Terry Lynn, another YouTuber who has done searches and that kind of thing and has her own channel, she looked for Sebastian, and if you're not familiar, she would search in like parks and wooded areas and that kind of thing and stream those. But she's kind of made the rounds on several channels talking about how she has signed NDAs, and I haven't listened to those interviews. I don't know why she signed an NDA. I think she's saying she signed it with ATNIGHT, if I'm understanding correctly. So we've been getting that same kind of question, and normally I would just not address stuff like that that's rumor, but it kind of is. I mean, it is sort of important to answer questions that have to do with transparency, and to know that people you're listening to covering a case do not have other influence. Yeah, like an agenda, like we're not being, controlled or paid or whatever by someone else. So I just wanted to make it very clear that we have never signed an NDA with anyone at ATNIGHT, not with Nick or Dog. We have no contracts or NDAs with any of those people. We don't have any kind of contract or NDA with Seth, Tony, any other kind of investigator, entity, media company, none of that stuff. So no NDAs, no contracts, no money coming from those people to us.
No promises.
Yeah, so that's another kind of version of the rumor we get sometimes, is that there's this documentary that we've been promised a part of. Nobody's talked to us about being in a documentary. I'm not aware of any documentaries being made. We don't get packets. Maybe that's where the packet thing started with that. I don't know, but
That was a good joke, though.
yeah.
Well, we made a joke of it because it's so ludicrous.
So anyway,
No one tells us what to say. If they did, I would probably be way more articulate. Let's just be honest.
I understand. I understand why people are asking, because Terry Lynn said she signed an NDA, and I have no idea why she did it. I don't know what she was promised. I don't know what she's telling people publicly or privately. I don't know her well at all. I met her for all of about 5 minutes once at one of the court hearings we went to, and so I don't know what her story is or why she's doing it. But so I understand why those things are out there. But anyway, just wanted to address that. We are our own entity. We are just our own podcast. The only kind of arrangement we have is basically with YouTube and whatever kind of rules they give us. Outside of that, we have no sponsors, money, contracts, NDAs. We are basically what you get, are the three of us doing this together. So anyway, just think that's important to make sure that you understand that we don't have any influence, in case that is something you've been curious about. So I want to get to this Michaela Whitaker situation. So this girl,
you forgot. There's one more really important one.
Oh, is there?
Yes.
I don't remember.
The familial connections.
Oh, good grief.
Well, that was, yeah.
That's actually even funnier.
That one is funnier. And we're not related in any way to Nick the Hat. We heard that one a while back. I think it started.
Yeah, but it's been coming back up, and it's ludicrous.
Everything old is new again at some point.
We didn't even know Nick until this case, and we heard about him and investigated him. We didn't even have a clue who he was.
Well, that's
what
what I
I
was
related. We sure don't know it.
Well, that's what I was going
Right.
to say, is go back and watch our first Nick stream when we're talking about Nick. That should give you an indication that we didn't know what to think about him.
Yeah,
So-
actually, when we did the Nick stream, the Nick stream sounds weird.
The Nick stream.
The live stream about Nick the Hat. Basically, that started because he came on the scene out of nowhere, and I didn't know who he was.
Never heard of him.
He was he's a character, and I was like, okay, so what is this deal? And so I just spent a day or two just kind of researching him and did the show, and I kind of just told who I thought he was and what his background was. And it was kind of one of those where I wasn't sure if he was going to be happy about it or really unhappy about it. because it just kind of is what it is. You just have your history.
Mhm.
And I don't think it offended him or anything, but I wasn't sure at the time if I had made an enemy by, because nobody, I don't know, people it might make people uncomfortable being under the spotlight on somebody's live stream, but he came in with dog and all this, and it was like, to me it was important at the time to understand who he was, what his motives were, because if you've been following this case for a while, there's a lot of wild stuff that's already happened over the last year, and you just never know about people. So anyway, that's he's not related to us. Just to set that,
Just to
not
set
through
the
marriage, and I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Still don't.
Right.
I tried to.
I was
learn
going to
it.
say, if we were related to him, we would probably know how to pronounce his last name. Just to,
Right.
you know.
I listened because Lesniak in our interview we did with him.
We asked him.
Well, he said it, and I went
We
back
talk
later,
about it. Yeah.
I went back later and tried to hear it a couple of times to see if I could. I was like, "There's no way. There's no way. No way."
We'll just go with Nick
the Hat. It's just gonna be Nick the Hat.
forever.
But anyway, so we'll just kind of set that at the side. But of course, if people just want to believe whatever they want to believe, there's not much you can do about it. But I think it's important for our audience to know that we are who we say we are. Anyway, let's go to this missing girl. This is a missing child alert. This is she's been missing since March 1st in the Gallatin area. She's 17 years old and she's female. And what happened for me is I started looking for it's in this county. Anytime a kid goes missing anywhere near Sebastian, I want to know what the circumstances are, because you're kind of looking to see if there's a connection, right? And you can't find anything on this young woman, and she's been gone now for 7 weeks, and even any kind of postings and things weren't really out there until the beginning of April. Really late March. I think the earliest date I could find it with anything was March 30th. And I have no idea what this woman's situation is. I don't know if she was in a foster home, if she's got parents out there. There's no way to know. But so it made me think of, and if you've been following this case since the beginning, you might also think of Trinity Bostic. Let's see, did that come up here? Did I share that properly? Yeah. So you might remember this young woman that passed back at the early July, right around the 4th of July. I think it was the 2nd or the 3rd of that month. And she's not from Sumner County, but a nearby county, a neighboring county. And she had been missing for over a week. She's also 17 years old. And when her body turned up behind Costco, Costco very near Sebastian's home, the same Costco that they would have gone to the Saturday before Sebastian went missing. So of course that got all of our attention. At first it was just announced that there was a body there,
right?
And no sex was identified or anything. And so everyone wondered if this was Sebastian, because that's just 4 or 5 months after he had gone missing. And so you're looking at this story and you're going, well, here's another young woman disappeared. There was no news for like 8 days before her body's found. And not in their local Facebook groups, not on the police department page, not on the county page, just nothing. Kind of like this other lady. And then you think of Sebastian, right? And he's got let me pull this up here.
He's getting so good. I'm so proud of him, guys. We need to give him like clapping hands in chat, because he's getting so good at this. I may not even be necessary.
So you've got these two girls, nothing. It just total silence, nothing out there. People not sharing flyers or anything. And with Sebastian, you've got the complete opposite. You've got corporations and celebrities and countless podcasters and volunteers, and he's billboards all over the nation. And what a contrast that is to me. It's obviously a nightmare to lose your child, but if you're going to have that happen, you want to be the 0.01% that gets this kind of media coverage that Sebastian gets. So, Seth and everyone is at the, who's got a higher profile as a missing child than Sebastian Rogers today?
Right now?
And
nobody.
More than even Summer Wells, who I don't know, to see people disparage that, or it's a gift in a way. I mean, it's a nightmare, but it's a gift considering the circumstances to get this kind of attention. Um, and these are some of the billboards. If you didn't know, you know about this. I don't know how many weeks ago it's been now. Maybe 3 weeks ago they started this campaign. They somehow launched this big campaign with these billboards all over the nation. I know there's some skepticism whether they were real or not at first. I personally have seen one. I saw one a little over a week ago driving through Nashville. I couldn't get a picture of it because I was just too far away. And even when I did, those LED lights are so blurry on a cell phone at a distance. I couldn't tell what the image was, but I could see his face. That was clear. And anyway, so there's a lot of versions of these. You've got like this Who Took Me version.
Hello, Tony Mathis. Welcome in.
Let me see. I thought I had another.
So, and Holly W became a member. Thank you, Holly. We appreciate you. The memberships really do help us out, and we that's amazing. Thank you so much.
So all of these are a little bit. Yes, thank you so much. We do appreciate it.
You guys, I don't know what's going on with this year, but Mr. E's pretty much stopped listening to me when I speak. It just kind of, he just hears womp, 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 womp.
Well, now that I'm like running the screens,
right?
I'm like trying to, I'm like the DJ.
Auntie came to visit and she knows exactly what I'm talking about.
I do.
He does the same thing to her. So
yeah, he doesn't listen to me either.
I am not a multitasker.
He's one job at a time kind of guy.
Yes. If I'm talking, I'm talking. If I'm thinking about something, I'm thinking about something. I can't hardly do both for some reason.
And heaven forbid he adds a podcast to what he's doing. It's all over. He doesn't hear anything else.
Real Me Too is angry. Oh, I think we're going to have some drama tonight.
What did I do?
She says, Mr. E, listen to my friend.
I will try to do better. I will try to do better.
And Tori Banks, thank you so much. Tori gifted a membership. Thank you, Tori. That is very sweet.
Cute dog.
Oh, what kind of dog is that, Tori?
Kind of reminds me of Maisie. No, I think it looks kind of like a Yorkie.
Oh, Yorkie. That's what I meant.
So cute. Kind of reminds me of my Maisie.
Oh my goodness, little Fig. Thank you so much. You guys are so sweet.
Yep, Yorkie, she said.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys. I was not, in all honesty, looking forward to being on tonight because I'm pretty stressed about tomorrow. So I don't know. I always forget though that when we come on here and we get to visit with you guys, feel like old friends at this point. And it's just I don't know. Sorry, I'm getting all choked up. It does make me feel better, even though I don't think it's going to.
Yeah, it always does.
So if you see me over here making sad faces, it's, I've just got a lot on my mind. So
just got to get through tomorrow.
Yep.
And so I just wanted to point out some of these billboards kind of as examples. And if you are just listening and not watching this particular image is Sebastian's face. The larger face is the first or the last picture that Seth has taken of Sebastian before he disappeared. And so you've got a very up-to-date
I love
picture
that picture.
There. Yeah, that's one of my favorite. I think that is actually
That's
favorite.
my absolute favorite picture of him.
There's just something about it. And on the billboard, it just looks great. So anyway, I'm going to read this. It says, Who Took Me? Then it says, called the dog the bounty hunter. The phone number, 844-922-3236. Up to $447,000 reward. Age 16, 5'5", 110 pounds, brown or hazel eyes, brown or blonde hair, believed to be in danger. Last seen February 25th, 2024. And then has his name kind of prominent there in the red and white, Sebastian Rogers, and email tips to manhunts.one. And then the ATNIGHT logo kind of down in the corner. And then I've seen several of these billboards. People are sharing them on social media. When they see them around the country and such, and ATNIGHT's put up a few of theirs. But that one was, I can't remember what it said now. I just flipped away. That one says, Who Took Me? This one says, You Made Me Vanish. This one says, What Did I Do? Was it worth it? These kind of provocative statements.
Yeah, we discussed this at length the other day.
Yeah, and so you know, some of them are kind of less provocative. Some of them are actually more provocative than that. But that's kind of gives you an idea of
Do you remember
what
what?
they.
Do you remember what you said when we were talking about it?
Well, what I thought is it's when you drive by a missing person sign
Right.
or
I know.
walk by.
That's what I wanted you to talk
Yeah,
about.
especially if you're not a true crime person really into this type of thing. I mean, now I have a heightened awareness of missing person posters than I would have before we had this channel, you know. But if you're driving down the interstate, you see missing person, it just kind of it's just noise with every other sign you're driving by or walking past, you know. But with these kind of like, was it worth it, or Google it, y'all, and stuff like that, they're provocative. They're asking you questions. It makes your brain start working. And when there's implications, even if you don't know the story, you see, was it worth it? And you kind of imagine you don't know anything about him. You're driving down the interstate and you see, was it worth it? And you think, was it worth it to who? You know, you're in your
Was
mind.
what worth it?
You know, you're in your mind going, what happened to this kid?
Right.
And then maybe you go home and you search it later.
Well, from a marketing perspective, it's going to imprint on your memory stronger than just an Amber Alert. I mean, I don't, you know.
Yeah.
Or not, maybe not an Amber Alert, just maybe a missing person. Amber Alerts always, I always pay attention to those.
Yeah.
But even Amber Alerts for me, and I just know from my own experience, if I'm driving down the interstate over the years and I saw Amber Alert with the license plate, I look at the car in front of me. And if that's not the car, I probably don't think about it again. That's the reality. And it actually made me think of, there's a Jerry Seinfeld bit where he talks about being, it used to be at the post office. They had the FBI top 10 most wanted at the post office. And he would say you'd be in line at the post office and you'd look up on the wall and you'd see the top 10 most wanted FBI. And it was like, I'd look at the guy in front of me. I'd look at the guy behind me. And if it wasn't one of those guys, I felt like I did my job, you know?
That's a great point. Look.
Yeah. And Unicorn of Hope says the billboards are antagonistic to the guilty and thought-provoking to the rest of us.
Right. And I think kind of what I was getting at, though, is that typical missing stuff doesn't imprint on your memory. This will imprint on your memory because your mind is asking questions.
It's actually marketing brilliance. It really is.
It is. And I think that's what I said when we were discussing it. It's brilliant marketing. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say. It just would imprint on your memory stronger than just a regular missing sign. Because you see missing people signs all over. And because asking these questions and having unusual lingo on them, it tends to get your attention more, and you tend to look at it longer. There's just a lot of benefits to it.
Well, I think like Mr. E said, it just you think, I want to go research this. I want to go look this kid up. So it gets you thinking, and it doesn't just drop from your mind after you drive away.
I know it would me. It's the best campaign for this that I can remember ever seeing.
Right.
I don't remember anything like this for a missing child. Council says, Mr. E, there are 250 plus billboards and increasing daily. This is a trigger to Christopher Proudfoot. Yeah, so that's kind of the second part of it. So first of all, you just get the marketing is great. It's brilliant. I've seen one of the billboards myself. It looks fantastic. Those LED boards just stand out anyhow, and they're certainly more cost effective than the standalone billboards.
Right.
Those are really expensive for one. One can be.
We looked into, gosh,
yeah,
it was $2,000 to $5,000 a month, depending on where it is.
Yeah. And that just depends on the super high traffic area. I mean, and that's just one billboard. You can do blip billboards for a fraction, of course.
Opinionated does have a good point, though. My concern about billboards is that they may only have 2 seconds to read it. And that 2 seconds is wasted on those statements instead of Sebastian's name. See, I don't know. Because if I saw, was it worth it? I would go directly to his face and then over to the reward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
the white draws your eyes. So
Yeah.
I think you see those two lines, especially, even if you don't see Dog the Bounty Hunter.
But I
see,
agree.
was it worth it, Sebastian Rogers?
I agree with that concern, though. I mean, that could be a concern.
They are quick.
I'm sure. I would guess there are studies on
I was gonna say
the optimal amount of time.
Right. I was going to say
rotate,
Blip probably provides studies on that.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
Kelsey had a good question. She said, "Has America's Most Wanted ever had a story on a missing child like this, with not necessarily the bad guy known or wanted?" And I don't know.
I don't
That's a good
know.
question.
I've watched them through the years, but I didn't take note like that.
Well, they usually know. They usually have the name, or they know the person that they're looking for. And I don't know if every time that's true, but most of the time when you see America's Most Wanted, they have the name, or they know who it is that did the crime, and they can't find them.
Were you here when he was talking about the Skull Shulman story with America's Most Wanted?
Yes, but that was one of the ones but they still didn't they have a indication? Wasn't there some stuff before it showed that they knew that there was some people involved?
No, they didn't have
No, they
suspects at all.
No, they didn't.
Okay,
No.
okay.
And it was solved because of America's Most Wanted.
Yeah, because the a bartender in Nashville saw that episode, and she remembered seeing one of the homeless guys that did it, that she knew regularly because he came in for coffee or whatever all the time, was walking with a limp and had cut all of his hair off, like drastically, and that stuck out in her mind that was strange, and she remembered that being the day after that happening, and didn't put it together then. And that was one of those cases. They had a million tips, and they were all like dead ends. And so it took them a while to get to this guy. And anyway, it took a while to solve, but that ended up being the break.
I think this is a new offshoot though of America's Most Wanted. It's America's Most Wanted Missing. So they're going into that realm now.
That's a super good question, though. We may have to do some research into America's Most Wanted.
And Kelsey made me laugh. Where did it go?
What'd she say?
I lost it. Oh.
Kelsey says, from what I can remember, they have some info of who they're looking for. Did she mean that as a joke?
Kelsey's funny. You got to watch her. She's a funny one.
You could take that one either way. So that's either a little dry humor or not. So
oh well, I know dry humor because that's my sense of humor. So yeah, she's dead.
So the other than the marketing, I wanted to talk a little bit about the tactic, and it is a little bit of a pressure campaign, right? So it's
that's a good point, Lady Freedom. Sebastian is on the FBI's most wanted list, so
that is true. So I kind of wanted to think about this, like what do we think of pressure campaigns in a missing person case or an unsolved case like that? I mean, it is a way to make things happen, to put people under pressure in a variety of ways, to make them crack and make mistakes and that kind of thing. And it's not, this isn't the first time it's happened. So there was one we had talked about, and I wanted to bring this up because some of you might remember this. Did it come up?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good. So it worked.
Help Dale find D.
Yeah. So
Justice
this is that.
For D.
Yeah. So this is that D. Warner case that was we talked about maybe a half year or 8 months ago when it was solved, but this was a cold case foundation tactic, and that's with Chris McDonough. If you're familiar with the Interview Room, and he's on the Lab all the time, and they bought this little plot of land and put up this billboard. Everybody knew that Dale was responsible. It was an open secret that Dale was responsible for D. And, they put up this billboard, help Dale find D, right near where he would have to drive every day to go back to his farm. And it's like a subtle pressure campaign.
Right.
Having his face on the billboard, he knows what they're doing. They know what they're doing. It was to me, this is a brilliant kind of pressure campaign. And then other things like this have been done before, but I kind of started thinking about it though. Like, where's the line on these pressure campaigns?
Mm-hmm.
Should they, it's like, it's great if you're right. I
was going to say, did you, some people may not know about this case. Did you ultimately
say?
What happened?
So they found her body in a tank of some kind on the property, like one of those big giant tanks. I can't remember. And it was welded shut.
Was it for gas?
I can't remember what kind it
It was
was.
like a tank. I forgot what it was called, but it was like, was it
Like
natural?
for
it wasn't a
fertilizer?
natural gas.
Was
I
it
think it was.
fertilizer?
I think it was liquid fertilizer for the farm, maybe.
Yeah, and he had
But
moved
yes,
it around.
somebody asked if it was in Michigan. Yes, it was the case in Michigan.
Kelsey's
Yeah.
saying a water tower.
Oh, it was a water tower.
I
Oh,
thought it
and
was
T and
some
Nurse
kind
says propane, Texas,
Butane. It was
Texas
something-
Plain Jade is saying a butane tank. I think butane is right, actually.
Yeah,
Now
I think it's
anhydrous tank.
Oh, and an anhydrous tank. Okay.
Anhydrous tank.
Well, and they could kind of see where it had been welded shut and all that.
ammonia. Carmen is saying ammonia. But what could you look up that word and see what that
I
is?
will look it up. I think it is. I think it's what we think it is. But I'll look it up.
Okay, somebody, Detroit Rock City, is saying that was so sad. Poor D. It's not far from me. Fertilizer tank.
That's
Yes,
that's what I
said.
thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's liquid and hang on.
Okay.
What
Oh.
is it? Okay. It is a specialized storage container designed to hold anhydrous ammonia, a highly concentrated form of ammonia that contains no water, and it's commonly used in agriculture as a nitrogen fertilizer.
Okay, and
Hi
that's
there,
It's a
Mom and Dad.
pressurized tank.
that was a heartbreaking case. Also, it is. It's terrible.
Yes, it was.
And anyway,
Oh, that's interesting.
yeah,
Huh.
yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, that's right, Castle.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
right? Facts are Amber Alerts are. The Castle says the facts are Amber Alerts are usually family or a close friend.
Well, we did the odds episode. I think maybe not
Well,
necessarily
yes.
just Amber Alerts, just
Right.
missing people
Right.
or
And,
children.
But I what it got me to thinking about a little bit with this is everybody can be for this if he's the guy that did it.
Mm-hmm.
What if he's not the guy that did it? Or what if you do a campaign against this, like someone, and you don't know, and you're wrong, then it's a terrible thing to be doing to these people. And then you see all the time people say like, what about parents' rights in these situations? Because like in this case we're following, you've got Seth, Katie, and Chris all in various ways being attacked by media, sometimes over various lines or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody could kind of agree that it's gotten out of hand, no matter which
way you look at it.
way you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I see all the time we need parents, victims' rights, but what are they? Like what are the practical ways that you could protect parents in situations like this? Your child goes missing. Let's say the large majority of the public believes, or your wife or whoever, actually, the majority of the public believes you're responsible. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. What kind of protections can you really give people that are extra, that don't impede on your civil liberties, essentially, to be able to discuss a case of importance in your community? And I was thinking of that.
That's a tough question.
But people say it all the time. So I wondered if they were any actual ideas, because I can't think of any. So if you have any ideas of ways to protect,
Put them in chat.
Parents, where that they could be legal, constitutional, and all of that. I just don't know what those ideas are. I can't think of how you would do it. But I thought about that. Remember, what was the girl's name? Angel Turner.
They probably, because that was only 2 weeks, because she had met someone online and they found her within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So most people probably don't remember it, because we covered
really
it.
quick turnaround.
We covered it pretty much right when it started.
Yeah, we really only ended up doing one full live on the story, and then she was found.
Yeah, and her mom was super appreciative that we did the live to get awareness for her daughter.
She was.
Her mom did a really good job of I think controlling the social media. All the information came from her, and I like the way that she distributed it, even though it went very quickly and they had a good indication who took her, where she was, type of thing.
Well, she had met a
They did a
predator
great job.
online, and they
Yeah.
were able to go into her accounts immediately and track down the predator and have her home within 2 weeks.
But that was what I remember on that. She lived with her dad. Her mom lived hours away, and she
Right.
disappeared with her father. And her father was, he was kind of like he lived out in the country. He was not, he wasn't. I doubt he spent any time on the internet, hardly at all.
I don't even think.
I don't think he
at
had
his.
internet.
I was gonna say at his house. I think he had a flip phone.
Yeah, it was something. It was like
Yeah.
that, and I mean, he was a country boy, and so he's standing outside of his house, and there were YouTubers driving by and like rolling down their windows.
I don't know if she
yelling,
was a YouTuber. She was a Facebooker,
or a Facebook,
but she was
whatever.
doing a Facebook Live.
Yeah, and like yelling out the window that he's a murderer and all this kind of stuff,
Oh my
driving
God,
right by this guy
Well,
who's
there
just,
went the monetization.
Yeah.
Thanks.
there's this guy just standing outside of his house, and he's just like, what is this?
And he didn't
And-
understand what was going on. But this person, I mean, she hadn't even been gone a week at that point.
No, and
No.
they were, and of course that community, that online community in that area, they were digging into Angel's past and every relative's past, and any little skeleton in there,
Mm-hmm.
was turned up, and it was gross, and particularly it was gross because we all knew that any reasonable person knew that whatever happened to her was not the parents, just by the evidence.
Right.
We
Because they knew almost immediately that she had a secret Roblox account.
right we
Or well, I
were-
don't know if it was a secret. I
we-
think the mom figured it out.
yeah
on
there
her-
was something on her TV too
Well,
that they were
actu-
able to track down.
if I remember correctly, she had made an account that her mom and was using it on something a device her mom had.
And
And her-
used her mom's email.
Yes, that's how
That's
her
what
mom
was.
figured it
was
out.
Her mom's email. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's
And
how they got
so
into
the
it.
dad had no clue about it. But anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
What?
I'm just getting what I'm getting at, I suppose, is just that, I looked at that situation and I was disgusted by it. But I was disgusted by it because I knew the dad was innocent.
Mhm.
Well, if he were guilty, would I have had the same feeling about it? These pressure campaigns and people do make mistakes under pressure. So it can be effective. It is a way to bring closure to an unsolved case, potentially. I mean, people make mistakes when they're upset, and but I don't know. I just kind of had different
Well-
thoughts about it.
Well,
There's
Brenda brought
go
up
ahead.
something kind of interesting. She says, I'm almost 68 and I want to understand how YouTubers are helping. I think that's a great question.
Yeah,
It's a fair question.
Sure. I mean, theoretically, someone sees the story, maybe knows someone, calls in a tip that, because you never know who knows something out there. They come across, like the Angel Turner story we were just talking about. We still don't really know. We don't really know how she got found, do we?
Yeah, the police found her.
The police tracked her down through the.
It didn't come in through a tip or anything, like where she was
I think-
located.
I think it was
Okay.
through the accounts and what they had. I think, and they knew the car based on something, and so that's how they tracked them down.
And also, Detroit Rock City wanted to let us know that chat blacked out. Totally weird. I had to restart my phone. We've been having problems with this all night long. I had actually almost thought about starting the live and then disconnecting and making a brand new live because it's acting nutty over here. Your all's comments are not coming in very quickly, and it's just been acting weird. I apologize. If it keeps it up, we may have to restart. I'm not sure.
Just Jana said they can protect themselves by staying off of social media. The parents can, and until proven innocent, they are on their own. I think the way that Riley Strain's parents handled it was really good. They went straight to the media. They dealt with the newscast. I mean, you really didn't see anything about that except through the news agencies, and I thought that was a good way to handle it. And their pleas were, real genuine, and they were out there every day updating. And I thought they did a great job with the way they handled it, staying off of other types of media.
Yeah, I think they mostly just used local news, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. I
I
think
don't think
so.
they did. I don't remember them doing podcasts or anything like that at all.
I don't think so.
Everybody's having problems, so you all keep talking for a minute. I think what I'm going to do is create another live stream, and then what I'll do is end this one, and it'll roll right into the next one. So
Okay.
everybody in chat should come along with us.
Okay.
If everybody's okay with that, give us a thumbs up in chat, please. It'll take me a minute to do that. So y'all keep talking while I'm doing it.
Yeah. Real Me Too says YouTuber helps a lot by getting exposure to cases. I mean, there are cases where
Oh, but if we do this, you guys have to promise to like the new video too. So just saying.
there are stories out there where podcasts and things have solved cases before. Those
Well,
examples
and
are out there.
If you look back at Riley Strain, I mean, you had a TikToker that found his ID. That was a huge break.
It was his credit card, debit card.
Or credit card or ID. Yeah, it was a TikToker though, and I think somebody was just put that up, and I was like, yes, that's exactly. So I mean, there are good and bad about the social media people getting involved, but I think it was a TikToker.
Brittany J was actually talking about a example. Do you remember? I don't know if I watched this documentary.
The documentary about cats.
Yeah. What was the name of it? It was All About Cats, or It's All About the Cats, or
Be Kind. No, Don't Hurt Cats.
I can't remember what it was.
Be Kind, Rewind.
It was a
Don't Hurt
Netflix
Cats.
documentary, and it was something with cats in the title, but we saw it years ago. And in that, it was online web sleuths that solved that case of a serial killer. But I forgot all about seeing it until I heard their panel talking about it the other night. And yeah, so I mean, it happens. It can happen. You just really. Oh, Izzy Girl says it's Don't F with Cats.
Oh,
I think that. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. It's actually a great documentary. It was really interesting.
I like my Must Love Cats.
I have to go back and watch it though, because I can't remember the details of it. I just remember thinking it was great.
That was W. Smith that reminded me about the TikToker. That was a TikToker that found that. But
I guess
there was a lady in Michigan that's on chat with us right now, and she said she's a border state and had never. It was conquest from within. She said, "I'm in Michigan, and we haven't heard anything about Sebastian, and we are a border state."
Yeah, I mean, in a way, there hasn't been a lot of national. There was some Nancy Grace. And what else?
Court TV.
Few big newspapers carried it, Daily Mail and New York Post. But if you don't read those papers, which most people don't read papers anymore, yeah, I mean, it's kind of right there at Court TV, of course, but not everybody's watching Court TV. So the America's Most Wanted is probably going to be the biggest thing to happen to the case as far as reach goes, right? That'll probably be the biggest platform.
And then, sorry.
Castle said, Mr. E, read my comment.
Mr. E, read her comment.
I'm
Castle's getting demanding tonight.
I will. I'll get back here and find it. Okay. Castle says there was a news station at the court for BHB, and Proudfoots did not interview and put Sebastian's name out there. I have heard that, and I've been there before when they've turned camera crews down at that same courthouse in the past. So, that's unimaginable to me. I can't imagine a scenario where I've got a camera crew from a local station wanting to talk about my missing child, and I say, no, I'm good. No, thanks.
That's why you see there's so many clips of Seth on the news, right? I mean, there's a lot of. If you look at all the news clips, I would say Seth is in 75% of them. What do you think?
He's in a lot of them.
Yeah. Tennessee Nurse says, in my opinion, one of the reasons people aren't taking Chris and Katie seriously is their lack of involvement through mainstream media. In my opinion, they could have shut down about half of their negative blows by doing less YouTube and doing more mainstream. Probably. Yeah, probably. Or actually just all mainstream. And I've said to Seth before, I don't, if he wanted to come on our show, I mean, he could, but I don't think it does him any good. Like, I don't, I'd rather him go out there and go do America's Most Wanted and do the local news and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Any large groups.
People like us, we don't really, we're kind of preaching to the choir at this point, because everybody here, probably 95% of you, are very, very familiar with the Sebastian Rogers story, know it backward and forward. There might be some new people kind of jumping in that still are kind of trying to learn the case. But yeah, YouTube's not, for the parents, is not really as useful a tool anymore. Not when you've got the option to be on America's Most Wanted and major news outlets. Real Me Too says reporters have asked if they wanted to speak, and they said no every time, but Seth does at every opportunity. I can't imagine Seth. Yeah, I can't imagine Seth saying no to a mainstream reporter at all. YouTubers, sure, but not mainstream news. Nothing national or at all. But anyway, so I guess my thinking ultimately on this was just that if you're going to do a pressure campaign, you better be sure you're right. That would have to be my rule if I were running like a Cold Case Foundation or At Night or any of these groups that are tasked with finding the truth. If you're going to put it like this guy Dale on the billboard and call him out by name and do this, you better be right. It better not, you know what I mean? So that's my kind of thinking anyway.
Okay.
You have something? Or are you trying to?
I am
roll
trying
this
to
over?
figure this out where we can roll over. So I think if we end this out, it will send them directly to the new live stream.
I was going to say, nobody else is saying they're having trouble.
Well,
But
all I know
can't-
is what's happening with me on my end is there'll be no chatting for a long time and then like 75 come in at once.
Gotcha.
That's
Do you
what I'm
think
seeing on my end.
Is it StreamYard or is it YouTube?
I don't know. They're saying they're not having trouble now, so I can leave it alone. I don't have to do anything.
Well, if it's doing fine, maybe it's just maybe it's worked itself out.
I
Well,
think
that's
I think it is because most people are saying perfectly imperfect boy mom said that I'm seeing the same.
Seeing
No
the
trouble,
same.
no trouble.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I will
Okay.
cancel this live stream that I just spent the past 10, 15 minutes setting up.
Yeah.
Well, just leave it in case.
Okay,
leave
but
it up for a
I have to
second.
take it off before we end because it'll roll right back into a live stream that we're not going to be at.
I know people that were having trouble with Rumble yesterday. Some big Rumble people was not working, and a couple different ones that I watch. And somebody said it's called rating when that happens. I didn't know that.
Okay, well, I'll leave it alone unless we just start having problems again, and then I'll set it back up. How's that sound?
And yeah, Chad, if you'll just let us know when you're having problems, that would be great.
Because I'm of course, maybe it's worked itself out, like you said. So I'm going to take this off of rolling back into the other live stream, and I'm going to private the other one just so that people don't get confused. And then I can actually pay attention to what you guys are saying again. So be exciting.
Hi, R. Taylor.
Hi,
Thanks
R.
for-
Taylor.
Yeah, lots of
for
folks
joining
running
us.
in.
Yeah.
Carla HHL Fig, S Butterfly Kisses, I Parrot, Susie W Smith. So we got a lot of folks joining that I didn't see before. Ash Cash and Texas Plain Jane. We welcome in. We're just basically talking about the kind of the pressure campaign that At Night is putting on with these billboards.
Hi, BJ Boop.
And kind of how it has really multi-purpose,
Hi, Just Irish. Sorry.
No, it's okay. That obviously it's an eye-catching campaign. The picture's great. The provocative statements are great. And then you've got the benefit just of the pressure campaign that they are clearly putting on the who they believe are their suspects.
Yeah.
And because some of the signs are really, I mean, there's not a lot of nuance. They're calling them out specifically almost. And it seems to have been working. I think if you watch what Chris has been doing the last couple of weeks, he seems like a man that the pressure's gotten to him, and in a lot of ways, because he's been all over YouTube talking. We saw him at the courthouse with that whole thing, and that's all been around the time of these billboards. These billboards seem to be what brought him out, because they kind of go through these long periods of being silent and don't talk for a while. Katie went 9 months without saying a word until the 1-year anniversary to anyone in the press of any kind.
Mhm.
And but these billboards, there's something about these that have gotten under his skin. And
Pushing the buttons.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly why or what it is about them. I don't know. So what I wonder is that he, the reward amount is what they keep going after. That he attacks, and then all of the people that support him continue to attack, and it's very strange. Of all the things you could, I mean, of all the things that are out there that you could complain about, this massive billboard campaign all over the country seems very strange, a very strange thing to
Right.
criticize.
No, yeah.
And the reward in particular, and I interact with people in different social media about this case, and some people were saying to me, well, read the fine print on the reward. They've got to do this to get this and that, and you should let everyone know that. And why? What difference does it make if the person that claims the reward may or may not get it because they didn't check a box to qualify, or they have to wait till the appeals process is over, or whatever. It's almost not even the point. The reward's almost not even the point, because rewards hardly ever make a difference in a case anyway. I mean, it's very rare, very, very rare that somebody's sitting on information and they're just waiting for, the right amount of money to come forward. And so what it kind of makes me think, it makes me feel like that there is somebody out there that has information and that might talk for the right amount of money under the right circumstances.
Right.
And I think that's why the FBI reward bothered them. I think that's why this money thing bothers them. I think there's somebody that knows something that would talk if they thought they could have immunity and a bag of cash. Because we've always we mostly believe that there's a group of people that have guilty knowledge outside of just the parents.
That's a good point.
That it looks like to me there's at least 3 people, and likely 5, up to 5, maybe 6 even. Castle says FBI has stipulations as well, but people are insane and ready to discredit.
Right.
And it's extremely important to them to discredit the reward. And so the question is why? Not is the reward valid or not. The question is, why are you working so hard to discredit it? And it's right. It just makes me think it must be because they're afraid it could be effective.
I thought what Just Irish said is very true.
Appropriate.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
His personal hell is trying to monitor what everyone is saying on YouTube and trying to constantly do damage control. And I feel like that's exactly what's happening right now.
Somebody was playing back, these leaked phone calls with Seth or Chris and Heather Cohen, the PI. I guess there's a part of it where Chris is asking, what does Seth know? And I'll fill in the gaps or something like that. I saw people talking about this on social media.
Oh, I didn't see
like
it.
X or something.
Yeah,
like
I heard it. I heard it on it, or saw it on X.
Yeah, and so I started kind of thinking about what you were saying, Just Irish. It is sort of a personal hell. You're having to wonder, what does the public? What have they figured out? What do they know? How can I squash it? Get ahead of it? Spin it as I need to? And so you constantly look. How many of us? I mean, I don't know how many YouTubers follow this daily, TikTokers, Facebook groups, and then
there's a lot.
People on Twitter. I mean, there's all kinds of. I mean, what do you got? Hundreds of people out there doing this, and you got to try to stay on top of all of it. It would be maddening.
It would
and
be.
He's a control guy.
You could see that in court.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he can't control it. He can control the relationships, people really close to him, but you can't control the media. It's just,
Diane's got a good point.
There's too many of us.
I mean, if I were a missing person, Diane says, if you care about your missing child, it would seem the bigger the reward money, the better, in my opinion. Absolutely. Because I try to put myself in other people's shoes, and I would think I wouldn't care who was giving it. If they were going to give it or not, if they were going to advertise and put themselves in the line for a reward for my child, I would be probably kissing their feet, thanking them for helping me.
I think of Riley's parents. They're just begging and pleading, and there was just so much they wanted anyone and everyone to help, and we don't see that in this situation. It's completely different.
I think this comment's important.
I do too. I concur.
Anybody that agrees with
That's
Mrs.
what I
E.
So anyway, so you had
Will you tell us about court when you have a chance? There's
oh yeah.
That might be a whole show in itself.
No, it's not that
It'll take
long.
long.
I didn't go, so I'm going to take this moment to go use the restroom. So I'll be back.
But just to kind of finish out this little part of it, I was just going to say that oh, now I got myself sidetracked.
Just about you if there's a reward and
yeah. I was going to say that. So what happened? I guess several people tried to call around the country to get these signs taken down. I don't know. I think I've heard a few of them might have been successful or whatever, which is also again insane to me. So in response, they put up this sign scares them. That was kind of one of their retorts to that.
That's what it means.
And I think it does. So then the kind of newer development here is this. So now they've got, and we kind of talked about this at our last live stream after we
Yeah, well,
finished
they
with the
actually at night had just put it up, and we found it and shared that little information that was all new to us last time.
Yeah, so it looks like they now are getting involved in the Summer Wells disappearance, and of course, many of you know of her out in East Tennessee. She's been missing now, I think, for a little over 3 years, and there's a lot of she comes up a lot because it's Tennessee, but also some of the circumstances around her disappearance there's kind of similarities to Sebastian's. There's some parallels. But anyway, she's now kind of part of this Billboard campaign as well, which is great. I mean, because her case is ice cold, or it has been. Sebastian's we don't think is cold, but Summer's certainly has been. Although I've been hearing rumors, or somebody mentioned in our chat last time, that they may have a new sheriff, and most conventional thought has been that it's a solvable case if they get new leadership at the sheriff's department. So hopefully that'll be the case. Maybe some fresh eyes and new energy coming in. Somebody will take a look at it, because the Wells family, there's crime. I mean, I don't know the story like our audience does, but it seems like he's got a variety of problems. His children have been taken away from him, and people that get caught up over and over in crime, there's usually a way to make them talk. But anyway, so now they're offering, I think it was a $47,000 reward for her, and they've got it now where it's if Sebastian, it's now I think it's $400,000 for Sebastian if he's alive, and if he's not, it's $200,000. Is my understanding, if I remember that correctly. So anyway, they've kind of got this budget or this cap they've got on the reward, and they decided to do it this way. And I don't know the reason. I've got kind of two ideas. One idea is simply that the Summer Wells story was huge, and maybe at the time it might have been bigger than Sebastian's. I'm not sure. But the two of them are certainly the faces of missing children in Tennessee. So to have them together has some power. If you don't know the Sebastian story, but you know Summers, or vice versa, kind of might draw in some new people. So that was kind of that thinking that just came as a campaign of awareness. Having them together kind of makes some sense. But then I also kind of more in a this one might be out there a little, but what if there is some connection, particularly if there's a trafficking connection? And Summer, I know a lot of people believe that's what happened to her. There's a lot of different theories, but there are people that hold that theory. I remember Deception Detective, that was his theory when I watched a video he did on the Wells. And I think that had to do with leakage and such. There's things he said. And Sebastian, although that wouldn't be my number one theory, it's not one I would rule out as a possibility. And if you are hopeful he's alive, that's probably one of your more hopeful scenarios, is that it's something like that. So maybe there's a connection there. And I don't know. So I don't know. Maybe that's not a reason. Maybe it's just simply that the two are just so recognizable. That's probably it. But anyway, it's just kind of an interesting
Mm-hmm.
campaign that they're doing there. So I know people are glad to see Summer back up there. There's a lot of people that fell in love with that little girl, and would love for her to be found if she's still out there somewhere. So let me let's talk a little bit about while Mrs. E is gone since she wasn't there.
There's been 2 court cases or 2 days of court, and we were at the first one recently.
Yes, we were at the first one, and so
I was listening. Hold on, I gotta correct something.
what did I make a mistake?
Yeah.
What'd I do?
You made a mistake.
Oh,
So
about the reward?
it's a 5. It's a 5. Let me put my headphones on. Forgot.
Crime dogs, simmer down.
I took him out to potty, and there was a bunny outside. So
The bunnies.
anyway, excuse me. There's a $500,000 reward if they're both found. It's not a cap; it's a bonus. Yes.
It was 47 for her and up to 500 total.
I'm gonna hold on. I got to take care of the dog.
Oh, I see.
I pulled it up so he could read it.
Oh, okay. I see. I assumed it was kind of like it added up to 447,000.
Actually, it's 5.
I got it. So now it's a $500,000 total reward
Right.
if they're both found.
Good thing I listen.
It is. It is. So, okay. So I guess I got that wrong. Well, either way, I mean that's great. Even better, actually. So if there's any connection between these two, and I mean, we just don't we don't know. My belief has always been he left the home alive, and so once he left alive, there's no telling what happened. Anything could have happened. I know the odds aren't great and all of that, and that's probably right, but we don't know. I think he left unconscious, but alive. That's what I believe. At least that's my primary thought at the moment. Serenity 72, thank you so much for that. Her super chat says, I told my husband about CP wanting the signs taken down, and he said, why would you want signs taken down if you have nothing to do with the disappearance? And he has not been following this. This is just what I have told him. Right. I mean, that's common sense, actually. I mean, that really is common sense, is that anybody asking to have billboards of your missing son taken down in this massive campaign, it really tells you all you need to know. And his instincts are right. People will make excuses for things like that, but his instincts are right. And asking that question. No, I did not see. Castle says astrology. Yes. Christopher Proudfoot's Facebook yesterday was horrific. Did you all see Christopher's Facebook? I did not. And
No, we don't.
Jana
We don't
is
do
asking,
that.
how does your community feel about this case? I have yet to meet anyone that's familiar with it that doesn't believe that
There's foul play.
that there's foul play and that the parents are involved. You'll meet people that don't follow it, and they'll ask, oh, I kind of remember that. Those kind of people, they don't have an opinion. Anybody that kind of knows about it at all, that's what everybody thinks.
Hi, Dawn. Welcome in. Nice to see you.
Hi, Don.
I don't
Are
know
you pulling
anything
up the
about that.
Facebook post?
No,
You have
I don't
don't
look
know.
at their Facebook.
Yeah, I don't either. So unless somebody shared
I'm
it
sure they're
somewhere.
private. So unless
Yeah.
you're a friend, how can you see it?
Well, I remember he did the Joker one a while back, where the Heath Ledger scene from Batman, where he basically the monologue is like, I've been bottling all this up, but there's and it's like, why would you go out and tell the world that you identify with a comic book serial killer and his
Yeah.
way of thinking?
Oh, wow. Okay. Castle
Castle
said,
kinda- yeah.
yeah, Castle kind of sums it up there.
Okay. Castle says he was basically in a nutshell making fun of belting children, etc. It's horrible.
Well, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I think he's coming unglued a little.
It seems like more
He's
and more
making a
so
lot of
each day.
mistakes. He's really making a lot of mistakes. So anyway, maybe the pressure campaign's working.
And Ida, we didn't see your comment.
I'm looking back. I don't see a comment from Ida. You may have missed it. I've gone pretty far back.
I didn't catch it, Ida, so I apologize. I'm bad about not reading the chat. It's hard for me to talk and read at the same time. Like I was saying earlier about the multitasking thing. So I'm not the greatest with the chat when I'm also talking about stuff going on. But anyway, the court date, Auntie, we were going to kind of talk a little bit about what happened there, and we've learned, if possible, it's best to just be there in person, because you get a second hand.
We didn't go the other day.
Yeah, the recent one we did not do. It was the one before where the altercation happened, and there were a variety of different stories that came out afterward. But that was the one where I think they were approving the appeal. And anyway, so
Well, it was yeah.
Yeah, she was going to get her appeal date.
It was ruled to go to the appellate court in Davidson County, so they approved her appeal. Yes.
Yeah, and it was a pretty short hearing. It only lasted maybe 10 minutes or so. And so anyway, it's a really big courthouse, and we're on like the 5th floor, and the Proudfoots leave. There's several like social media folks with them, and his mom was there. Anyway, and maybe 10-ish or so people, and they have them leave first, and they've been doing this ever since the protective orders got granted. And what they're trying to do is let one group clear the courthouse first, so that when they go outside, you're not breaking that, I don't know how many feet it is, 100 feet, 300 feet rule they've got, where they can't be within distance of each other. So the Proudfoot group all leaves first. So we're all just kind of sitting in the courtroom. We wait a little while, give them time to clear out. Then the group that was on the Bullhorn Betty side, they all stand up. We all go out into the hallway, and out in that, it's a really big hall, and they've got these giant windows that look down onto the street. And so we're standing there, and we look down, and we can see, Chris and Katie and his mother and all the social media folk all out there kind of talking. And they're standing in front of like the entrance to the courthouse. And, obviously we can't leave. If we're going to leave with Betty, you can't leave until they move, but they kind of weren't in a big rush anyway, because she wanted to talk to her attorney, and we were all kind of just talking about how things were going and whatever. And we look down, and it catches everybody's eye, because Chris gets real, like, physically animated, and he starts like, he kind of jabs a finger in his mom's face a couple of times, like maybe 2 or 3, kind of like that. Hey, I want you to do this, like one of those, and it's like, whoa, what is that? And then everybody kind of is watching that unfold. And it starts out mostly Chris and correct me if I'm wrong about this, Auntie, if I'm misremembering, okay. But I believe it started out with really Chris and his mother really going at Terry Lynn pretty good, and like pointing at her, and Kathy's kind of doing this hand thing and really leaning in on her, and there was clearly some anger, and eventually Chris sort of walks off.
Mm-hmm.
Kathy stays in there going at her for a bit, and then and Terry Lynn had her back sort of to us, but she seemed sort of unfazed. She wasn't backing down from whatever this was about. And then Katie comes over, and she points a finger in her face, and then she walks away. And then it kind of starts to calm down. Kathy goes with, I don't know who she was. Was it maybe one of her daughters or something? We don't know who she is. She leaves with some other lady that seemed like family, and they kind of walk off, and everybody's kind of meandering and talking with each other. And then we're kind of like, oh, that was weird. I wonder what that was all about. And then a little later, we do see Chris and Terry Lynn off to the side, and he's still acting pretty hot. Like he's physically very animated, when he's upset, and he's still kind of going at Terry Lynn for a bit. And then there's a moment where Terry Lynn pulls out these cell phones, and she's like handing them over to Chris, and he's like looking at her cell phones or doing something like that, and hands them back, and it's just all strange. It was all very strange. And then they sit and they talk for a while. They're I don't know how long, and we're waiting for them to move because we can't go anywhere. And then they have that talk for maybe 15 minutes or so. By the end of it, Chris seemed calm and left, and Terry Lynn pretty much seemed the same the whole time. She never seemed upset or whatever. She just seemed like, you're not phasing me at all, like that kind of. No idea what all that was about. But the thing that was sticking out to me was just that, when you go down to that courthouse down on that bottom floor, there's 3 sheriff's deputies right there. And those windows, it's just glass. It's just glass. It's not like walls. You can see everything out on the street. So they're out there having this kind of like, I don't know, argument and acting wild, like in front of these sheriff's deputies, knowing the situation, knowing the scrutiny they're under. And it was just bizarre. It was, I have no way of knowing what the argument was about, but it made me feel like, and then somebody else later was saying that when, and I don't know if you saw this, Auntie, I didn't notice it, but somebody else was saying that when Chris left the courtroom, he was kind of like slapping a folder or file that he had in his hand and kind of looking over at the group.
I want to think it was a red folder. But I don't know if he was slapping it, but you know how people kind of have it in their hand. He wasn't really slapping it, but I did see him with it in his hand.
People kind of took that as sort of a little gesture, a little,
I was watching pretty closely, and I didn't see that as odd. And I was really watching closely at all the dynamics and who was there and what was happening. And I didn't find it odd, but somebody else might have caught that.
And Real Me Too has been commenting. She was there standing beside you guys watching this.
Yes.
Yeah, Real Me Too. If I got something about that wrong, let me know. But that's how I remembered it playing out.
It kept your attention. You're like, what's going on? Mm-hmm. It wasn't just a casual conversation. It was definitely, the finger pointing in people's faces, it was definitely exactly the way you said. It was Chris at his mom, then his mom at Terry Lynn, and him at Terry Lynn, and then Katie at Terry Lynn.
Hold on 1 second. I got to mute. So I've got to mute. Hold on.
So that's basically, what happened. And it kept our attention for a good 15 minutes, and we could not feel like we could leave and exit the building because it was all on the stairs and right at the entrance, and it was the only way we could go out. So we had to kind of wait until they dispersed before we could go ahead and exit. So it was pretty, it was pretty intense. Although Terry Lynn did not act upset at any point, she never really seemed upset or defensive. She just kind of sat there and took it.
Okay.
Are we back?
Yeah, we're back.
Okay.
And I wanted to answer Castle real quick. Mystery, what do you want us to do with us mods to do with all the trolls that are coming to attack? I haven't really seen anything terrible.
Maybe they already got them.
Oh, maybe. If someone is basically, our rule is if
they're here to just cause trouble, then just bounce them to.
Just block them. We don't care.
Yeah. If it's clear they're not just like, if they're here to cause trouble.
But
if they have different opinions, that's great.
Different opinions are fine. It's just once it goes over that line to rudeness and trying to upset our chat.
Especially if it becomes personal, whether
Right.
it's personal to the people in the chat or to us or other creators. Different ideas are great, but going after people, that's usually what it devolves into. And to me, that's the line.
And what another thing Romy too said, and I did see this, is Kathy, during all that exchange, she did kind of storm off with another woman. I think possibly was her daughter. It was another girl that walked to the car with her. She was almost directly across the street from the entrance of the courthouse. She got in her car or truck, I think it was SUV, and left. And that person just walked over with her, then walked back to the group. afterwards. And yeah, she was a little, you could tell she was a little hot under the collar.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She was maybe the most upset of all of them. It seemed like.
That's the way you described it to me when you told me.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. I was picking the kids up from school.
There's just kind of the why are you blasting a YouTuber that's been out there doing videos searching for your son for a year? Too. Why is that? Why is she taking it? And why do you feel like you can even do that? The whole family just taking turns. It's a terrible look. The sheriff's deputies are right there watching you. The whole world is watching you actually, and you don't have any self-control in a moment like that. It's just it was, and anyway, so we had to wait for them to move, and they still actually never moved. So eventually they called down to the front desk and had somebody go out to say, hey, this group can't leave until you guys move. And then we were finally able.
Yeah. And they kind of dispersed after that. It was pretty quick after that.
Yeah.
But it took a while. I mean, I don't know how long that would have went on.
Diane, you're funny. She wants to know who was the most upset.
She stormed off. So
she seemed the most upset to me, but Chris would be.
Katie was pretty upset as well. For her 5 seconds of, pointing and yelling, she was pretty upset.
Yeah. She kind of walked over, gave one of those, and then walked back to the influencers, it's just bizarre to have that happen right outside the courthouse when the whole world's watching. But it makes me think that the pressure's getting to them,
Real Me Too says the same thing. Exactly what you guys just said.
Diane, yeah, Real Me Too agreed.
And Lady Freedom wanted to know, was it UA Crimson?
She was there.
She was there, but I didn't see her involved with anything.
They were kind of like two little circles of groups. Or, there was kind of like the family and Terry Lynn, and then there was a group of like social media people nearby, but not really in the same circle.
Not involved with it.
Right. They were all having, it seemed like, their own conversation. And but I didn't see anything. But, she didn't get involved, that I could tell.
And Cindy Lou says, love you guys, doing a great job. Thank you so much, Cindy Lou. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Well, I know everybody wanted to know what you guys saw, so I thought we should just get that out of the way.
They took her phone. They didn't take her phone and keep it. Chris took her phone. She had 2 phones actually. He took both, looked at them, and handed them back to her.
Yeah. So we could kind of guess things, but I almost don't want to speculate beyond.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what we saw.
Yeah, that's just what it was. No idea what it was about. But anyway, it was kind of the beginning before Chris started to go on this kind of like wild tour of social media, really hitting ahead when he went on the Cluminati channel and did like a 2.5, 3 hour, whatever it was, just kind of like a meltdown, just attacking everybody. And, I know people got kind of like disgusted, just like the different things that were said or whatever. To me, what's more interesting is why did he do that? Why did he choose? Why now? Why 14 months later is it time to go on this kind of tour when he'd been so quiet? I mean, there's always a reason for everything, but I'm just curious,
Oh my stars.
The crime dogs are really going tonight.
Hold on.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry about that. Castle said thank you because it was denied everywhere else. So I think Betty was didn't you tell me Betty was standing with you guys too and saw it?
She
was back and forth. She was with her attorney in a room for a little bit, but there were several of us out there that saw. I mean, we were definitely not the only 2 people there. Real Me Too was there. There were other people there as well that watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. We were not the only ones.
Yeah. I see. I kind of thought this way too. Unless you were paying my phone bill, I wouldn't be showing someone my phone unless I wanted to show a picture or something. I would feel like that too. But I just don't know what the situation was.
Did Seth have a meltdown?
Well, I mean,
about after Chris's thing. You hadn't gotten to that point yet.
Well, yeah, we haven't gotten to that part.
So Chris comes out and basically attacks everybody under the sun, doing all this, kind of just trying to come up with every insult he can imagine. And it's just why now? And it's just got to be this pressure campaign. And I'm not ever going to believe, or I'm not ever going to complain about Chris talking or Katie talking or Seth. I'm happy for all of them to get out there and talk as much as they want. I think that's a positive thing. I'm just surprised he's doing it. I'm just wondering why he's doing it. And it's, to me, it's just the pressure. It's the pressure of the Bullhorn Betty suit thing that cannot be going the right way.
I just have to. I love Grandma Chachi.
Grandma Chachi says, "Call me a nosy old lady, but I love hearing about what happens with court. Thanks, you family." No, I'm
We've
glad
been
to
meaning
help.
to talk about it. We just wanted to not have it, get mixed up with the other stuff we were talking about.
Yeah, I
right?
mean, and we just saw what we saw. All we're reporting is what we saw.
Yeah, there's another lady that goes by Yoshi that's on X, and she left, and she said she could hear the shouting from across the street when she left, but I can't say that. I just didn't hear it, but
We were
I also
upstairs the whole
wasn't
time.
outside. Yeah. So, but anyway, but that's one of the reasons we like to go to court ourselves, because we have learned that things kind of get twisted. You lie. Just all right.
About what?
Is this directed to us?
I think
Okay.
so.
I don't know.
No, we didn't lie about anything. That's exactly
Okay.
what happened. So
So anyway, that's
Why didn't anyone go down and record it? Lost opportunity. Rubicon. That's funny.
yeah. I guess it was just I guess so.
You
Well,
all
it's-
acted like it was like an accident at the side of the road. You couldn't look away.
Yeah, and you
Oh.
kind of kept thinking it was almost over.
Everett said that the "you lie" is directed to him. LOL.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. See, it's always tough in the chat. You never know.
It's hard. It's
what
hard
did
to know
Everett-
what people mean.
What did Everett Sunk lie about? I know it's always hard to tell who's talking to who sometimes, But yeah, and this might be it too. I don't know. It's just moving too fast. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
he
Seth
was a
interview.
drunky monkey slurring his words, and you could hear the hate and rage in his voice. Ben said KP is an alcoholic, allegedly. He might have been drinking. He sounded a little slurry to me at times on some of this, but yeah. So I mean,
okay.
that could be it.
Just RN says no. So I don't know. I don't know what's.
I wish
I'm
they
so
would do
confused.
like where you could tell someone's replying to somebody else.
I know.
Kind of like
in the
it, kind
chat.
of like they do with the phone,
Yeah.
where you can add it. Oh, definitely not you all. Okay.
Okay, good. You lie.
I just wanted to know what it was
You
about.
lie.
I just wanted to know what it was about. I'll tell you, these dogs are making me a little crazy tonight. They're usually
Well,
not
lady-
this wild.
Lady Freedom's narrative said, where were the officers? They were actually right inside the door, like,
Yeah.
where you get scanned in the courthouse. You have to go in and go through metal detectors, and they were all just standing there. And when we finally came down the elevator to go out, I mean, they were all there. So they had to have seen something,
Well,
unless they just weren't paying attention.
I would.
It didn't look violent or anything like that.
No.
It didn't look
No,
it didn't
no.
look like that was about to
That's-
happen. You could just
That's not the way you
see-
described it at all.
Yeah. You could
Yeah, they
it
were
was
just mad. You could just tell angry.
It didn't look scary, like anything was about to happen. It didn't have that feel to it.
Dondi, yeah, you're here in our live. You're here, Dondi. We see you.
But I don't think it went through. Not sure why.
So,
Um,
anyway, you've got the Bullhorn Betty thing happening, and that's not going how they would have ever dreamt it would go.
Oh,
Appeals, more hearings. They're in court over and over.
can I make my point real quick?
Sure.
I was going to say, wouldn't there be a lot of? Oh my stars! It's just it's chaos. It's chaos.
They're never
They
like that.
never bark this much.
I know. Hold on.
Sorry, guys. Mine, I don't know if you can see her back here, but she's like dead asleep. That's what my dog does 99% of the time. My dog is a sister to one of their dogs, but she doesn't, she's not seeing any bunnies or anything. It's her sleepy time. So Deanna said, "Where is the respect toward women, towards your own mother, to raise your voice in public like people witnessed?" I mean, he definitely was angry, and it appeared to be at her. So I don't know. I mean, he was angry. It didn't last long, but he was definitely angry and pointing his finger and in her face.
Okay, I think I got it under control. I apologize about that. What I was going to say is I would assume the courthouse would have tons of cameras.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I would think that they could have probably caught all that on camera. And
Yeah,
Little
I'm
Miss
sure.
Sharon says, "I'm sure the officers see plenty of people getting emotional at court." And you're right. I'm sure they
Absolutely.
see that a lot.
That's a good point.
Especially when people are leaving court, if things don't go the way they want or there's controversy. But yeah, it was definitely a group, and we waited quite a while for them to leave.
So yeah, it was a disagreement, I would say, is the way.
Yeah.
Just maybe a heated argument, not necessarily. Is that the way you
Yeah,
see it?
it was heated at times. Yeah, it was heated.
Okay.
Yeah,
Especially
That's a good way to say it. Yes.
yeah, especially when it was still like Kathy and Chris involved. Yeah. And then the one with Terry Lynn, it started out kind of hot and then it mellowed as it went. Was how it appeared. Whatever was going on there. But there was something you wanted to say before the dogs went nuts.
That's what I was going to say, is that I'm assuming if anyone, like you said, the sheriffs were down there watching it, right?
Yeah.
So if they had I'm sure they could pull that footage if they felt it was
Oh.
significant. That's what I was
for
getting
sure.
at.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
That's what I was
Yeah.
getting at.
I'm sure they've got sound and video camera that they could pull any
Oh,
footage if it was, important.
Right. That's what I was trying to say. And then the dogs got me distracted.
Yeah, so I think they're feeling the pressure because they didn't nobody would have expected this thing to not be going cold by now. Instead, there's still interest and now national coverage. Of course, they've agreed to do the national coverage. They are fortunately they are doing the America's Most Wanted episode, which we haven't talked about since that happened. Seth is on it also. If there was any kind of controversy to that, it's that the Proudfoot didn't have them come into their home to film, and Seth did, and so there's kind of the question as to why there. My understanding is Seth had the option to also not film in the home if he didn't want to, and he chose to do it. So anyway, that's coming soon. We think here in the next maybe a week or two, right? Do we know the date?
We
on
don't.
America's Most Wanted?
I actually reached
Someone
out to
said
find.
the 28th. They already put it in our chat.
So
Oh, that's perfect,
next
because the
week.
person I reached out to did not know.
Yeah, someone put it in our chat earlier. And Castle, no, I haven't gotten that from them yet.
And Grandma Chachi, I saw your message about your pug that she used to bark when our dogs would bark, and she's
Oh,
no longer with us. So I'm so sorry. I understand how hard that can be. Furry friends, whew, that's hard. And I'm
It
so
is.
sorry. And we feel for you.
Yeah. That's,
I know I didn't, I just wanted to acknowledge that before I forgot.
so let's see. Another thing that's kind of happened since we were here last is this about Katie, the video that Mob Crew put out with her driving through the neighborhood. And so her timeline is really starting to not make a lot of sense. And people, all the internet sleuthers and such are all kind of starting to figure this out, that there's something about when you start really thinking about the time. She gets up at 6 a.m, goes straight to Sebastian's room. He's not there by 6:03. She's calling Chris at 6:22. Seth is contacted. And then at 6:32, she's in her car checking the neighborhood. And it's like, what else was going on in that half hour from 6:03 to 6:32? I mean, that's an incredible amount of time. It may not sound like a lot, but if you kind of just sit there and think, it's like watching an entire sitcom with commercials.
Mm-hmm.
How much time that is. But so I'm just going to play a little bit of Mob Crew. This, of course, is Chris, who does great work over there, and of course, Chris Proudfoot's not happy with him, probably for this kind of reason.
So there you go. There's Katie. This is unedited. Usually I've shown the slow-mo version. Yep, that's Katie. It's not speed up or anything. It's normal speed. That certainly looks like a mother who is very interested in finding Sebastian. She just learned literally 30 minutes ago that her son is missing. And this is what we get. And again, look at the time frame. Because remember, it's not till 6:33 till law enforcement is notified. Yet she's told to turn back around at the school. It's 6:32.
See, there's something not right about that too, right? So
Yeah, that timeline just doesn't match up.
it's 6:32.
And she's leaving the neighborhood.
Yeah, with 6:32 and 23 seconds. Well, this is
Wait, your Surrey's talking to you.
oh, so, and this is not her leaving yet, is it? Is it her? Is this her
can't
leaving?
tell.
I think this is her
Can't tell
going
which
up.
direction.
Well, let me look at it closer.
I think she comes back the other way in a minute. So, but she supposedly. Well, let's just get to that part then.
Hi, all I need is Jesus, coffee, and true crime. Welcome in.
Because he plays it here in a second, the other direction.
Just out for a joyride.
6:32.
On our way back, again, same thing. No stopping anywhere. And there she is. Normal time. Normal speed right there.
Right.
Interesting.
So how did she said she was at the school calling them at 6:33 and they told her to turn around.
You're talking about calling the police at 6:33?
Right. Well,
The three-way call.
Isn't the dispatch call at 6:33 and they had told her to turn around and go home by then?
That's the way
From
I
the
remember
school?
it.
But she's not at the school yet, right?
Yeah, there's no way she's there at 6:33. I mean, it's at least 2 minutes to get there.
Yeah, at least. With school traffic and everything and morning traffic.
Mhm.
I noticed that too.
What's
And
that?
if you're
Yeah,
looking
says, and her windows are up, not down, like she said.
going out and coming back in. I mean,
Mhm.
if you're looking for a child that's missing, wouldn't you have the windows down, yelling? I mean, I would. I would be
Sorry,
freaking
guys,
out.
it's really short. So when I back it up too far. But again, that is normal speed. And
Can I help you?
I've seen the whole video all the way to the end of the street and back. It's same speed till she turns around, same speed back. No searching in between the homes, no kind of, slowing down, braking. Look at her, just
Yeah, so now it's
cruising
6:33,
right
right?
by.
So supposedly that's when the phone call happens. I don't know. And she's flying. She's flying on that. She's not looking. And I think in one of the interviews, doesn't she say she's yelling for him out the windows? Does she say that? Do you remember, Mrs. E? Does she say she was calling for
I
him out the
remember her
window?
saying she ran out of the house yelling for him, but I don't remember it in the car.
Okay.
But that's not
The
to
way
say
that's the way
didn't.
I remember it, but I cannot tell you where I remember it from. I remember the driving and yelling out the windows for him.
But to me, that's all important. I'm sorry, Auntie.
I just think about her hair was combed and braided. She was dressed. I mean, I think I'd probably have my pajamas on. I'd be screaming bloody murder. I would be absolutely out of control.
Yeah.
So I just find it odd behavior that she is completely dressed, put together, hair brushed, driving through the neighborhood, window up, looking for her child. It's odd. It's not what I would consider consistent with someone that had that just happen.
Yeah. Yeah. The hair, the being dressed for today and all of that's depends on if that's in her routine or not or something. Like if she had gotten up at 5:30 to get ready or something, and we don't know. But she says she got up and went straight to his room. That's what she claims. So maybe did she spend the half hour getting ready for the day?
I don't know.
Not. I
Yeah,
don't know.
Dondi, there are cameras at the school, but we have not seen that footage.
You'd have to assume that there's a lot because there's a lot of cameras around there. Yes, and credit to the mob crew for that. He's been unwell, and I think he's back tonight. Actually,
He is. It's
Oh,
just
I like this.
we had to go live tonight because we just don't know what the rest of our week's going to look like. So we had to do it tonight, and it stinks because we would like to be watching some of our friends as well. So
yeah.
This is a good comment by Moonflower and Medicine Man. We would do these things for a dog, so why not a child?
absolutely.
If it were my dog, you better believe I would be in my pajamas, out running, screaming, looking between houses, and I would be freaking out, yelling. So yeah, I see that.
So
Well, I mean, we've been in that situation, and I was freaking out, yelling, calling 911
Yeah.
all at the same time.
all in like 5 minutes.
No,
Yeah,
it wasn't even that
total.
long.
Yeah. So that to me, that the whole thing with her and having that video, so much is so much what we think we know about the case is just what somebody's told us or what has been said.
Right.
And we have so little evidence. But here we have firm timeline when she was in the car. We know exactly where she was at that point during the day. And so it's great for us to, whether it's Texas Roadhouse or whatever, anything we can do to get firm footholds in what actually happened when he disappeared is great.
Oh, I didn't know that. Mystery Hong said they got camera footage from the school on X. I did not know that. I had not heard that.
Wow, that's
I let
okay.
him take over the X account. I don't even look at it. Sorry.
Well, I hadn't seen that from Hong.
I don't remember him saying
That
that.
might have been a while back. I hadn't heard that either, unless it was
Yeah.
new.
That could be true.
Let us know if that's recent or not, because none of us
Right.
knew that.
Hi, just a girl who loves frogs. Welcome in, and Sugar Beat, and Astrology for Mystics, and Dina Do. Welcome in.
And yeah, good to see everybody. Lots of folks kind of rolling in here. So you may have seen this too. Deception Detective is back on the Sebastian Rogers story. He's
Oh.
done a few of these interviews,
Yeah.
and I don't like to play. I don't like to play a whole lot of other people's content. Just like a little piece, almost, just a couple of highlights, and then let you go check out their videos on your own. But this is Deception Detective. He did this one just 2 days ago. This was his part 2 on this, and he called it "This is Getting Weird." And I'm just going to play the beginning of it and what stood out to him.
Say to anyone out there who wants to say that one of you could have something to do with Sebastian's disappearance?
I would say to pause and to think, and I would say to consider the sources of information. Try to make sure that you're getting legitimate information. Avoid the rumors.
That's Katie Proudfoot, and I think she and her husband, Chris Proudfoot, both have something to do with the disappearance of their son, Sebastian Rogers. So her message there was for people like me. And it was actually pretty encouraging because she didn't say that we're wrong or mistaken or lying, nor did she say that she and Chris are innocent or that they didn't have anything to do with the disappearance. So in today's video, let's continue analyzing their most recent TV interview for signs of guilty knowledge.
You didn't give me a second to get my banner up for Deception Detective.
I can play it one more time because I think it's
You
interesting.
need to.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Because what he's saying here is that because listen, they don't deny it. She's asking if they're involved or whatever, and they won't say no. And it's the thing where, and I've thought this about Chris anyway. I think Chris really doesn't like to lie. I don't think he wants to be a bald-faced liar. He's the kind of guy, he will lie through omission. He'll mislead you, but he doesn't like to just outright lie.
Should we get our deception deck out? I think the Deception Detective says that at one point in this video. Get your deception decks out.
Yeah, he does. I'm going to play another clip from it, but let's do this one more time just so you can hear her, because I don't think we picked up on this when we went over it.
What do you want to say to anyone out there who wants to say that one of you could have something to do with Sebastian's disappearance?
I would say to pause and to think, and I would say to consider the sources of information. Try to make sure that you're getting legitimate information. Avoid the rumors.
That's Katie Proudfoot, and I think she and her husband Chris Proudfoot both
So that, I can let him play that.
have something to do with the disappearance of their son Sebastian Rogers. So her message there was for people like me. And it was actually pretty encouraging because she didn't say that we're wrong or mistaken or lying, nor did she say that she and Chris are innocent or that they didn't have anything to do with the disappearance. So in today's video, let's continue analyzing their most recent TV interview.
Actually, I want to address this with Brenda. She says, I think she means the lie detector. Why didn't the lie detector work for the FBI then? Kind of in defense. And I would say that we only got the answers that they were passed from CP and KP.
No,
right?
she's talking specifically about deception detective because her last thing was deception
Oh,
detective.
why isn't he working for the? I thought she meant did the lie detector
No,
work?
no,
Oh,
she's
well, that's a whole
she's
different
just-
question.
She's just kind of putting him down. She said deception detector is not above all. And then
Well-
she said, why isn't he working for the FBI?
I would say he's probably making more money on YouTube, quite frankly.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's
I would say
that would be the
yes.
reason.
And
Why?
he's actually gotten famous for his detections of people lying and the strategies, his deck. He points those things out and makes it very apparent for people that may not catch it. So I mean, he's got a really great gimmick, if you want to call it a gimmick, but his strategies are pretty cool.
Everett, it's not tonight. It's on it's next week because tonight they're doing one on North Carolina because I saw the preview for that. So
It's the
not tonight.
28th.
Yeah.
Unless something's changed, it's the 28th.
No, they did I saw the preview today. It's a North Carolina story
Okay.
because they had it like on Greenville local news or whatever.
Hello, Sugar Beet.
So this was another clip from this that I thought was pretty good.
We talked about this in the car the other day, listening to it.
This part?
Oh, just the whole thing.
Yeah, I just didn't want to play the whole video just so people.
The whole
can-
thing's great. If
It
you guys
is.
have an opportunity, it's about what 14, 15 minutes long. It's worth listening to.
And he is one of those guys who he doesn't even really like to cover missing people. He doesn't like to cover crime,
Hello, Ocean. Welcome in.
but he will.
And does he do classes for LE? Someone said I thought he did classes for law enforcement. He might. I don't know.
I don't know.
Ty Bay, we've missed you too. It's good to see you. Thank you for the prayers for tomorrow. We appreciate it.
So this was another interesting part that I liked here. So we'll play.
Oh,
that.
I didn't know he was a lawyer.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's a lawyer trained in statement analysis.
Gotcha. Well, that makes more sense. Okay.
And he
Thank
may
you,
have a
Jessica.
full-time job as a lawyer, and this may just very well be his hobby.
That may be why he's not working for the FBI.
That would
He didn't-
explain it.
Yep, that would.
Why do you think Sebastian is still missing?
Oh, I've got that on too fast.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I had that on 2 time. All right. So she just asked, "Why do you think Sebastian's missing?"
That's tough to say. I mean, it was the largest manhunt in Tennessee history for a child. And absolutely zero evidence. There's nothing out there.
Evidence implies a crime. So the fact that Chris and Katie constantly use that word is not lost on me. And it's definitely not lost on my subscribers either, because many of you have pointed this out in the comments of my last few videos. But what's even stranger is the fact that they say there is no evidence. Because as I showed you in the intro, the most recent update from their own private investigator is that there might be evidence that Sebastian ran away. He might have been spotted on camera, which makes me wonder what knowledge Chris and Katie have that the rest of us don't, that allows them to rule that out as evidence already. Personally, I think the answer is leakage. As I keep saying, lying is hard, and that's because we always speak based on what we know, even if we're trying to be deceptive. So sometimes the fact that we know something can leak out through what we say.
Yeah, and Chris uses that evidence word a lot,
Mhm.
Which kind of shows you where his head is at, I think. And then he, on X, a deception detective has been talking about this case too, and he's saying that he's getting the feeling that they're watching his videos. And deception detective isn't like all invested in this case or anything. He watches and pays attention to a lot of different things and celebrity arenas and all that too. So he doesn't know this like we do, but of course everyone's like, oh yes, I'm sure that the Proudfoots are watching everything you do. And it's been obvious to most of us for a while that they are adapting to the criticism and the things that other people are picking up on. And they're still having trouble because that interview was not good. There were a lot of red flags in that. And that it was practiced, pre-approved questions, their attorney sitting over in the corner, and they still kind of blew it, referring to Sebastian in the past tense and using distancing language and all these things that deception detectives picked up on, so much to a point where he had to do a 2-part series just on that particular interview. But anyway, check him out. He did 2 of those videos this week, and he is motivated by numbers. So he's the kind of guy where he will do a story if it's getting views, and he'll move to something else if it's not. And so if you support him, if you want more his Sebastian's story out there more, watch the video, give it a like, and all that kind of thing.
Well, could I have a moment?
Yeah.
To show something. So a while ago, I wanted to show you guys what made Mr. E's day. So a while ago, I'm going to share for a second. Let me see. Share screen. Okay, here we go. He's probably going to laugh. So we had put up a post about the emergency motion being filed. And Deception Detective replied and said, I see Hong at Night in the thumbnail, but I didn't make the cut, with a sad kind of upset face.
Yeah.
And so I made him a new one.
Yeah.
And put him right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And he thought that was funny. And
Yeah.
so then I think he agreed 100%. And then I think he retweeted it, didn't he?
Oh yeah, I think he did actually.
He
Yeah.
said the
That was
best
pretty funny.
thumbnail ever or something.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't see that.
He's been great.
He's so funny. So he's been kind of laughing with us on there. So I just wanted to share that because that was just so funny. It happened while we were kind of taking a break. So anyway, I just thought that was funny.
So that's what was going on with Deception Detective there. We're kind of hopping around with a few different things. There's just stuff I wanted to kind of get to that had been happening. And then even tonight, Jennifer Coffindaffer did a stream at 4:00 today. And
I caught a few minutes of that.
yeah, and it was,
I did a little bit too, but I had a friend call, so I had to get off.
yeah, and it was good. And I always love when we have whenever you have the professionals come in and speak, whether they're the psychiatrists or the law enforcement, FBI, attorneys, all of that.
Mhm.
Statement analysis folks, we want to hear what they've got to say. So the whole stream was really good. But I just wanted to go back to this point because she's making a point we've tried to make for the last year.
Well, you know what? I will tell you, that's my fault. That's my fault
What?
because I always have it like set to like a automatic 1.5 speed for everybody.
Oh no, it was me. I had it that way earlier.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, it was me.
Okay, we can't hear anything. Are we supposed to be singing? Oh, there it is.
He didn't add it to the stage.
Oh, I didn't.
Okay. No, I was like, we can't see or hear anything.
wants to see the white. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, that's not a good look for her.
There's probable cause to believe there's proof of some criminal of the crime being committed, some evidence that would be there. So this will always be a big sticking point. Just looking at 2 factors so far, whether this is criminal or not, because it still drives me crazy. Anybody would think this is a criminal. First of all, you have Amber Alert, which indicates a child who has been abducted, taken against their will. Second, you have a search of a landfill. I bring you back to Quentin Simon. Quentin Simon's mother, Leilani, threw Quentin in a dumpster, and it was caught on tape, at least the bag, right? It was believed she did that, which she did. She's convicted. Throws him in the dumpster. Law enforcement finds out where that dumpster was emptied at the landfill, essentially, more or less. They have agents go out there. Guess how long agents search, knowing, at least pinpointing pretty much the area where this one little, in the scheme of things, in the scheme of a landfill that goes east, west, north, south, pushes for a little while, then comes out, and this one goes off screen, and they both go off.
Oh, okay. I think I might have messed up there, but anyway, that kind of gave us an idea of what Coffin Daffer had to say about it being a criminal investigation, right?
Yeah, I thought she also at the end, especially kind of
Oh, that's interesting, Deanna.
was a little negative as far as thinking that it was going cold.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why people would start to think that. So I'm actually getting a little concerned about this case. I do have some hope that Sebastian could be with someone using a different name. The case of the 16-year-old missing from Beaufort, Georgia, found 1 year later in Tennessee in DCS foster care with a different name last month. Wow.
Wow.
See, that's what we were talking about. The national DCS or whatever you want to call it. For
A
That's
national
crazy.
DCS
a national
database.
so that people can't go from state to state.
And if they all they would have to do, I mean, it's not rocket science. All you would have to do is make sure you had the latest picture of any of your kids in DCS, that they have new pictures taken every like 6 months or 3 months, and then those pictures are put in there. And then anytime a kid is in the DCS system and they matched, facial recognition matches another kid in the United States, you immediately investigate it. It's not hard. It's it just requires time and focus.
Yeah, that's I hadn't heard that story that Deanna just gave. That's amazing, really.
That does give you hope, though, right?
It does. It
And
does.
it could be something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't
Gives
say that
me
that's
hope.
impossible. I can't. You can't. But if you kind of
And like Castle said, though, usually Amber Alert equals criminal.
yes,
That's true.
yeah. And the part that bugs me is they know what that car is down there. They have to know. We've seen too much of the footage now that's too clear. We know they've caught this car. They've got the, so they know what vehicle it is, but it's not out on the Amber Alert. Look for this car that took, and why?
Wow.
Why is that not out there too? Deanna says, yes, I wanted Seth and his team to know of that. Her name is Asada Amun. She was last seen on Ring Doorbell in Georgia, but thanks to a DCS worker, she was properly ID'd.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, some idea like that could be possible.
They can't hear us?
I don't know.
Can everybody hear? Give us a 1 if you can hear us, please.
Asada Amun, she says.
Oh, she said no, it's her. Never mind.
Okay. Okay.
Hi, Tai Bay. Nice to see you. S Butterfly Kisses.
And Castle, I did not get that email. If you want to try to send it again.
What's going on with your
I don't
email?
Did someone do a one in the chat thing?
You were going to
Yes,
change
please.
email
Oh, you did.
addresses. Did you change it?
I've got a couple.
Okay.
So we're probably going to.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't think the social security number
I'm
would
not
change.
I'm not.
But,
getting it.
people can get around that stuff, when they're registering a child. Oh, I'll bring it in some other time and then never bring it in.
Yeah. So
I don't know if that's what happened. I'm just speculating.
that was all I had really planned to cover tonight.
Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom would like to know what your thoughts were on the clapback, I guess, with Seth.
If the overall temperature of things has gone through the roof, and I'm hoping that things will
Settled down.
start to de-escalate a little. I know there's always going to be some back and forth. But it was getting really hot there. And both, all over the
Everybody,
place, really,
yeah.
everybody. And
Mhm.
I with Seth, having that moment to do that, I don't think it really helped anything. I don't think it really hurt anything. I understand why you've got this all bottled up, and maybe he had to just kind of get that out.
Mhm.
And what I think people don't do is put themselves in others' positions. Like if you imagine that you're Seth and you're innocent. You've had nothing to do with it. And you're in this situation where, everyone around and social media is basically pointing the fingers at your ex-wife and the stepfather, and you don't know what to believe. You've had a relationship with them. You probably are kind of like, are they capable of this? Could this, and as the time goes on and they won't communicate with you, and they all the red flags that we've all seen. And then he eventually gets these CPS reports, and we don't know what's in those CPS reports, but Seth does. And, it's leading him to believe there's a problem with Chris. Right.
Mhm.
And he knows what's happened. We don't know, but he knows. And now he meets with law enforcement in December. He comes out of that feeling really good. And like there's going to be something happening.
Mhm.
Like they're working on the case. They're on this. Then January goes by, then February goes by, and March. And now we're in late April, and they don't do press conferences. There's not really, and then Chris, what he sees is Chris just doing the tour out there, just trashing anybody looking for his son, anybody and everybody that has questions about what happened to Sebastian that don't explicitly support Chris's position. Literally everybody. And if he felt like he needed to blow up on that, then that's what happened. I'm worried about this whole situation just in terms of violence, and that something at some point could happen.
Yeah.
I don't know where or who, but it won't shock me because one thing I was thinking about is when men start attacking women verbally, you got to be really careful. It's one thing in a way, and there's a sort of sexist in a sense, but it's one thing when women feud with each other. But when men come in and start saying really horrific things about other women, you don't know what men are in their lives that love them.
Right.
And
I thought about that too.
There are men that will get in their truck and go for a drive and find you, because we have the ability to just shut down all reason when our mothers, our sisters, our daughters,
Your wife
are have some of the things said about them that they've had said. And I don't know if that, so it wouldn't shock me if something like that happened at some point, because things have just really gotten ratcheted up. I'm hopeful that now that the RICO case is over, maybe some of that will start to tamp down a bit, because I think a lot of it was coming from that. And so if you're on, maybe some of that will start to fade over the next few weeks when there's, it's over, it's settled. So maybe there won't be anything.
I wish we'd get some more law enforcement, involvement or reports. We're still working on the case. The case is still very active. Just updates, but the lack of communication has been frustrating throughout this entire year.
Because you can't know what to believe. It's impossible to know. For
Right.
all Seth knows, Seth in December may have very well believed that they were working on and getting some progress. But as time goes on, and we know that can be slow, it might take them 2 or 3 years to find out what happened and get enough evidence or whatever. But when you're the dad, it's urgent.
Well, yeah.
It's immediate.
It
This
hurt-
needs to be
yeah.
done tomorrow. We need progress today. What's happening today? And when nothing's happening, you reach a point where you start to wonder, have you guys been playing me? You know, are you just stringing me along and you have no intention of ever doing anything? You would have, I would have those doubts. Anybody would.
Right.
It's got to be, I mean, it's got to
You
be
know,
just
'cause
excruciating.
he can't, there's no way for him to know. And they can't tell him. It's not their fault in a way either. They can't tell him what they've got, whatever they've got, whatever their theory is. They have to, there's only so much they could tell him. But I am worried. I am worried about things escalating beyond just internet at some point. And it could be anywhere. It does not necessarily with the parents, but even people just crusaders or vigilantes and all these kind of things. You know, it won't shock me. I hope nothing like that happens. And I hope my belief still at this point is that law enforcement is working on the case and that it's moving forward. It's just painfully slow for all of us. You know, but I do believe it's in the works. It's just, they're on their own timetable. And for them, especially with a DA just wants to win. And if they think they need 3 more months for whatever reason, or they want to try to work somebody and an informant or make a deal, whatever they, you know, then that'll be more important to them than our timetable.
Right.
Because the last thing the DA is going to want to do is go out there and lose on this high profile case when maybe just a little more diligence going through cell phone data or whatever, taking that extra step might have made the difference.
Well, we watched the Megan Boswell case and we were concerned that they were going to lose that. And that was kind of a home run case.
Yeah. That was
I mean, and they had all kinds of evidence and a body. So
when is the appeal on that? When is the appeal?
May 22nd, we all need to set aside. It's not the appeal. We're going to watch the sentencing on May 22nd.
Oh, the sentencing. Okay.
Yeah.
But did they file an appeal immediately? I thought they did.
She did, but as of right now, the sentencing's still set for May 22nd, and we'll be here for it because we all watched that trial together. So we want to do that. I see that Kansas City Chiefs style or Kansas City Chiefs for life. I keep wanting to say style every time. It says prayers for the East tomorrow. Thank you very much. My 2-year-old grandson has major open heart surgery June 13th at Vanderbilt. We will add you to our prayer list. I actually started a prayer kind of comment chain on our post page. And if you want to add to that, you can. I did write you down. I went out and bought a journal and I'm writing all of my prayer requests in a journal so that I can go over them daily and remember everybody. So thank you for sending that. And we will definitely be praying for your grandson. And I encourage all you guys to pray for her grandson as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. You can't be in better hands than Vanderbilt. That's for sure.
And then Brenda had a question a while ago, and I thought it was a good question. So I saved it for you to.
I saw it, and we got kind of sidetracked, actually.
Yeah, but that's a great question.
Trust may not be the right word.
Oh, and Lady for Justice, I forgot real quick. Hope is always alive, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. And that is absolutely true. Thank you for being a member for 1 month, Lady for Justice. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Lady for Justice.
That's okay. I didn't want to forget her. I had forgotten her too. So
trust wouldn't be the word I'd use. I think they want to solve the case and they're trying to. I don't trust that. I'm not 100% that it's going to happen, but I think it will happen. I think they're trying to make it happen. If that makes sense. I think the effort is there. I just don't know if it's hard to know because I don't know them. You know, I don't.
We want to believe that they're doing everything they can, though.
You kind of have to read the tea leaves a little bit and see their actions and all that. But I think if they wanted to just bury it, they could have done it a long time ago, and they didn't. Because they could have always just played this like it was a runaway, and there would be nothing we could do to stop that. Really, they're the ones that turned it into a criminal investigation very early on.
But have they not done that because Seth's been adamant with them that he wasn't a runaway, and also got at night and dog involved. Is that why they have not allowed it to go the runaway route? We don't know that intervention possibly could have played into the change of not really discussing that. I don't know.
I think Seth has kept up the pressure for sure.
Mhm.
And it might have been tempting, even if they knew what happened or had a good idea, it might have been tempting to them to just put it on the shelf and just kind of say, well, we'll just hope something falls into our lap one day. But with all the media attention and Seth leading that charge, they kind of don't have a choice anymore to at least be. I mean, if it ever came out that this case weren't being pursued or something, and that it was just, it would be a pretty bad look for them.
Go
ahead. Go ahead.
Ivy League flight nurse said, please include me on the prayer chain. I found out Thursday if I'll require radiation after my abnormal mammogram and lumpectomy. Good luck with that.
Definitely will.
I have been where you are. I have breast cancer, so I know what you're feeling. So we will definitely put you on our prayer list. And then also Lady for Justice said, please add my son, Nikki D. God knows what's up with him.
All right.
Sure.
I'm actually writing these down,
Yes.
so that's why I'm kind of
Yeah,
quiet.
we'll do
So
this together.
we don't mind at all to add anyone to our prayer list. So Nikki and the Ivy League flight nurse.
And I actually had a friend. Okay, so the day our son was having his tumor removed, we had someone come and sit with us, and they told us how they do their prayers, and it was the best thing. They have a book, and they sit down, husband and wife, in the morning, and they go through their prayer list.
That's such a great idea.
They put it in like a little journal, and I bought one the other day. And they write down everybody so that they don't forget anybody that they promise prayers to.
That's a great way to do it. And I think you may have already had Christine from the last live, but Christine, it's a creator, and somebody mentioned her the other day, and it was Christine 55555, like 5 5s.
Right. And she has I know she has cancer, but I cannot remember what kind.
Wasn't it in the spine?
It started in her breast. I remember that. It's in her spine and brain.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
I had to think about it for a second. But I just thought that was such a pleasant way to kind of start your day. They said that as they're having coffee, they'll sit there and go through their prayer list and do the prayers together. So I thought that was really nice. And I just thought it's something I'd like to change in my life and make sure, I do pray for people, but it can get daunting when a lot of people who need prayers. So
when it's more intentional and focused, I think it's more effective.
I agree. So anyway. And then, Real Me Too had one more thing to say, and it was back here a little bit because I'm really behind in chat. And she said, I can say, knowing Seth personally, he's very respectful to women. And I will tell you that every time I've ever spoken with Seth, he's been nothing but respectful and kind to me.
Absolutely. Very, very, very nice.
Above all else, he met our oldest child who has autism, and he was kind and warm and gentle with him.
Yes. Yeah.
He was just, and that sold me on Seth at that moment. Didn't know him. That was the first time I met him. So the way he treated my son told me everything I needed to know about him. So.
Yeah. So,
I'm sorry. I'm just going through chat. We never just get to sit and
I
talk
know.
to people. So I'm just kind of going through. I'm a little behind.
So
Sharon Marlowe was saying something too. She said cancernoid 1 centimeter lung. I'm not sure who she's talking about though. They say they can remove. Looking for the right doctor. Interviews are important. I'm not sure if she's talking about herself or someone else. So we just want to make sure, Sharon, if you let us know if that's you or someone else.
Sharon
Marlowe.
We're going to be talking later this week. She wanted some information on Dr. Mackus. So.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, Kessel says Mr. E Amber Alert was on 2/27, so Ellie was on it from the start. Yeah, so that'd be that Tuesday after he went missing. So
Gotcha,
it didn't take him long.
Well,
We've
I
kind of,
felt like the going to the landfill was right there showed you that they thought something was up, something wasn't right, and there could be something criminal. Why else would you go to the landfill?
right.
So
We didn't talk about this. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says absolutely, and he's willing to do anything to find his son, including calling in and chatting to an atheist. That is what a worried parent does. Did you hear about this, Auntie?
I did. I know it was a large group, and he wanted to call in and raise awareness of him being missing. I didn't hear it, but I heard about it.
Yeah, it was an interesting idea. I mean, that's it's like we talk about, if he ever came on here, he's not really doesn't do him a lot of good. He's talking to the same people that know all about Sebastian, but he called into a podcast or a YouTube channel that has somewhere around 150,000 or so
Yeah, a lot.
subscribers, and they didn't really know anything about his case, and it started out kind of about faith or whatever, and then it was a little contentious at first, and then once they realized who he was and what was going on, then it got better. But there he reached, I mean, I don't know how many views they got on that stream, but potentially tens of thousands of people that didn't know anything about Sebastian, and that's
I
great.
think ultimately they shared
Great.
it, right? They shared the information and everything.
They did, yeah, they did. So I don't know how. I mean, it's a creative way to
Reach a
to get
different
it out there.
audience. Yeah.
Exactly.
You
I get it.
you're trying everything. That's what would be maddening to me, because in this particular situation, if I were Seth, he probably believes that multiple people know what happened too, and mistakes were made. We've already seen lots of mistakes being made. Somebody knows something out there.
Was it Chris McDonough that said that about?
First time criminals.
Yeah, first time criminals.
Yeah, this would be these aren't people with like long rap sheets where they know how to get away with the same crimes over and over. If these are who we think they are, these aren't people that have done this
kind of thing.
We don't think before. But so for Seth, he's sitting there going, "There's somebody out there with a piece to the puzzle, and I don't know how to reach them. It could be anybody." That would drive me just bananas. That may know where he is, may have seen him at a rest stop, at a gas station the day after, or who knows, or heard a conversation, overheard a statement, caught something on camera. They don't realize they have something. It's just, I mean, it would drive you crazy thinking that way. But that's how I would be thinking.
Reasonable Doubt has been a member for 2 months. May God's peace be with you all tomorrow. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for being a member for 2 months. That means a lot to us. Thank you. You can probably see it all over my face when I'm stressed. I was stressed the other night too. K-Mac!
Oh my gosh, K-Mac!
Yes. Good to see you, K-Mac.
K-Mac is here.
K-Mac says, "I agree, Mr. E. Someone knows something." Yeah. And FBI thinks it, or they wouldn't have offered that $50,000 reward. That's really how you know for sure they believe somebody knows something and might be willing to talk. And for all we know, they actually are talking.
And
it's possible that somebody's already communicating,
And R. Taylor, I already
you gave K-Mac a heart attack. She's
I'm so behind in chat. R. Taylor, I have put your son on our prayer list already. R. Taylor says, "E family and chatters, thank you for your prayers and support. We've been praying for R. Taylor's son for a while."
Was allegedly innocent in here? Somebody just said hello to her, I thought.
Yes, she's here.
Hey, Jules.
I see you here now. So
I'm sorry I scared you, K-Mac.
You've changed my mind on something, Jules, because I'll tell you where you've made my theory shift a bit. I originally had been, or not originally, but for several months, I had been looking at the Chris-Katie relationship as Katie being kind of the smart one, and Chris was sort of her attack dog. That's kind of how she was the one sort of sending him out to fight the battles for her. But after listening to one of her streams about Chris, it made me realize that's not right. That it's really Chris, and you're already on this too, though, that Chris is
yeah.
the controlling one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I watched him in court grab everybody's watches
Yeah.
and, have to be in charge of when they in court. One of the times they thought somebody was recording and Chris grabbed like iPhones and iWatch. I don't know. Did he grab watches? He did grab watches. That's
Mhm.
what it was.
He's wild.
Phones and watches. And he was very like on top of it. And I don't know. I notice human nature. And so I said to him after that I thought he was a very controlling seeming person because he was really on. I don't know how to.
Yeah.
Can you help me explain it?
Yeah,
I'm not.
he's
I can't
like-
quite articulate what I'm
It's
trying
like
to say.
it's a nervous, antsy energy, and he's like,
Yeah.
it's hard
It's a
to.
control. It's called being a control freak.
Yeah, he is.
You know what it reminds me of, Aunt E? It reminds me of one of our grandmothers.
Kind of.
You know what I mean?
Yes, wanting to
Okay.
make sure that they had their hand in everything that was being
Uh-huh.
done and knew that that's the way it needed to be, and so they had to kind of an overbearingness.
But almost a frantic overbearingness.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jules. So this was back when one of the older hearings
A
when
while
when
ago.
there were a bunch of TikTokers we didn't know there.
It was when Court TV was there.
Yeah, it was the one where Court TV was there, and they thought somebody was streaming inside the courtroom, and the bailiffs kept coming out, and they were looking over kind of at that section, like the Chris Proudfoot section, and then Chris started gathering everybody's watches, like, "Hey, we got to give these," and it's just kind of like because they wanted to check to see who was.
It was watches because we weren't allowed phones in there.
Yeah.
So they were checking people's iWatches.
Did you get Detroit Rock City prayer requests?
No, I did not.
Oh, wow.
But I did wanted to add K-Mac has been having back issues for a while, and I'm adding her in.
And a Detroit Rock City.
Oh
her
my
daughter
goodness!
lost her second baby before Easter.
I'm so sorry.
So Sarah,
I'm
is her
so
name.
sorry.
That is awful.
Okay. Let me add that in.
But anyway, it does kind of make you look at things a little differently when you plug in Chris being the one in control. The reason I had thought that it was, like that Katie was like the smart one, was because she wasn't letting her mouth get herself into a whole lot of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris goes out there and he goes out and says stuff like he went out saying that now he says the 3 CPS reports. That's something we haven't talked about tonight that's come out since. He's now acknowledging 3 CPS reports on him.
Well, first it was 1.
Yeah.
And then it was, I don't know how many. And then it was 3.
Right. Yeah. Started at 1.
But definitely not 5.
But not 5. And then Seth is pretty consistent. They've been pretty consistent 5. That is 5. And in a way, at that point, does it even matter exactly? 3, 5? I mean, it's like, I've got 3 DUIs or 5 DUIs. I don't know. I mean, there's a problem once you get up into 3, I think, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sorry, I'm writing down prayer requests.
But actually, I kind of, yeah. So
hi,
even
GTO guy.
if 3 is the right number, that's a lot. That's a lot anyway. But I tend to think it's more likely that Seth, since his number isn't changing, is probably accurate.
And also, I wanted to say hi to Spirit Seeker Squad. I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome in. It's nice to see
Good to see you.
And GTO guy. Very nice to see you guys.
Yeah, it was
It was weird.
It was weird.
That was a weird interview. And allegedly innocent also said SF investigates leaving the case left him directionless. He's trying to control the narrative but does not understand social media. I don't know if SF has actually left the case. I don't know if that's true.
I mean,
I don't know.
I actually haven't listened to all of the stuff Chris has said in all these interviews. It's just kind of I just haven't listened to all of it, but I think he says in one of them somewhere that SF is not on it anymore.
Oh, okay.
I think Chris says that, but I might be wrong because I'm hearing that secondhand. I think that that whole thing blew up back when they did the year anniversary, and they were supposed to have that video.
That where supposedly was him walking.
Yeah,
through
and they
the
timed it
neighborhood.
all wrong, and
Yeah,
that
he
just
really
all fell
screwed that
apart.
up. Yeah.
But I think he's out of control too.
Well, I as interesting as it is, it's hard for me to listen to that stuff. So I
Yeah.
kind of rely on clips for that. So unfortunately, we just don't have the extra time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh.
and if you wanted to, you could make this a full-time job.
Oh, absolutely. But I don't think it would pay the bills.
No. Yeah, no kidding.
Can I get a "you're fired" LOL?
You're fired?
I don't know.
You're fired.
Can you do it with the hand?
How does he do it? Like a "you're fired"?
No, he goes, "You're fired."
You're fired.
Like that.
You're fired.
I don't know if she's talking to us.
I don't know.
You're fired. Oh, maybe she's talking to allegedly.
Maybe it's her thing. Is it her thing?
Maybe it's hers.
Oh, life's a dance. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. That's very kind of you. We
Okay, so-
appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Life's
for
a
that
Dance.
$10 super chat. That's awesome.
Thank you so much. Ivy League nurse might have some clarity. She says Chris said that he assumes that SF is still on the case, but he believes that he's just on a vacation right now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's okay.
They're all laughing at you fired.
You're fired.
We used to watch that was like our favorite show.
I love that show.
The Apprentice.
Yeah.
Especially the first one was excellent with what was that lady's name? Omarosa. Do you remember her?
No.
Yes, you do. She worked in his cabinet.
Yes.
And then she turned out to not be very nice. So.
Yes.
I thought he was just off the case altogether. So
I don't know.
Lady for Justice knows. Ha ha ha! You fired.
And then Spirit Seekers. God was
You fired. Trump fired her. Yes, our Taylor, he did.
she was referring to us if Trump was awesome.
Well, yeah, he did fire her, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
She so anyway, I think what I'm thinking next time, we're going to do that article that we were
why don't
talking
you give
about
them a sneak preview
of the article?
Yeah. Well, you don't have to. You can just we could just talk about it a little bit.
But it was a great article that we saw on X, got kind of shared a little bit, but it was basically about how you would put together a case against someone if you do not have a body.
Mm-hmm.
And it lays it all out. So I thought we might kind of go through that on the next stream, unless something kind of breaks and happens in between, which happens pretty frequently on this case for some reason.
Yeah.
Some new video or whatever pops out. But that's kind of what I'm thinking we'll do next time when we talk Sebastian. And do you have anything else?
Well, I was just going to say we do have a TikTok channel now, but we haven't quite had time to fool with it too much. If anybody wants to sub up to that. And we've been trying to work hard on our Patreon. Mr. E's going to do some more articles over there.
Yeah, we've been doing a little bit with that. Yeah. So
and I actually made up these really cool sheets that where you like if you're let's say that you're at home and you want case facts, but you just don't really have a good way to organize them. I've got a free download over there on Patreon where you can download kind of a case fact sheet and write out, all your different things. And then we have an article on, why can't I think of it? The thinking.
On critical thinking? Or
no, it's the
bicameral
thinking. Mm-hmm.
There was an example of it earlier because I almost brought it up. It was the lady that was talking about I don't remember who it was. Somebody posted about their husband hearing about the billboards, and his first reaction was, "Why would you want to pull down the billboards or something?" That seems like something a guilty person would want to do, right?
Right.
And we'll talk about it, but at some point,
yeah, we're going to do a whole episode on it.
Yeah, but just to kind of give you an idea of what bicameral thinking is, that was an example of. So bicameral thinking is not ignoring both sides of your brain, the logic and the kind of the instinctive emotional, and and that both have some value. And I tend to go logic and not consider instincts
But I
as much.
tend to do both.
Yeah, and I tend to want to look at but but for in that situation, that guy's instinct is there's a problem with the parent. Then you could go spend a ton of time. So it's kind of like trusting a little bit of both. If something just doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right. But also, you don't leave out logic either. And it's bicameral thinking. Anyway, that was something we were thinking about applying to several of the things that have gone on in this case. And how to approach each of those. But that is an example. Hearing of
says she has not seen any billboards yet in Memphis. She's been looking for them, but she hasn't seen any yet.
Yeah, I don't know. So my guess
You
is
did see one here, though.
I saw one, in Davidson County, 2 weekends, like right after they announced it, like 2 days later or something. But well, thank you, GTO guy. Fired. You three deserve a raise.
Oh,
thank you.
GTO guy. Is that your car in your picture? I guess it is.
That's nice. That is nice.
That is a nice car. I can see it
That
better
is.
on his computer. That's
Yeah,
nice looking.
I would guess this is how it works with these.
K-Max said it has
billboards.
to be here. So it probably is somewhere, but the billboards go by so fast, it's hard to catch them.
Yeah. And there's probably multiple companies that do this around the country. And so it's likely they have regions and they're probably working with one specific company, and maybe they've got a heavy presence in Nashville. I think I saw today they're in Portland and what was the other city?
I don't know.
I can't think of where it was, but they may have heavier presences in different parts of the country. R. Taylor, thank you so much for that. Prayers and support and healing to Middle E. Jesus is with you, dear. No worries. Jesus heals the sick and healing to all.
Oh, thank you, R. Taylor. That's very kind.
Thank you so much. I know we wear you guys out on the prayer requests, especially these last few months, but I wouldn't ask if it weren't super important to us. We really would appreciate if you would take a moment to do that. And
it means the world to us.
It really does.
And when we see those orange hearts, I've gotten to where I don't cry every time.
Yes.
But a lot of times I cry because it is so overwhelmingly kind for you all to think of our son.
Yeah.
So, and I wanted to acknowledge the real Me Too as well. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna start crying. The real Me Too has been a member for 10 months, and she says prayer for Middle E. I didn't even know we've had a channel 10 months.
You say that every time.
I know. I never believe that it's as long as it is. Thank you.
All I think about is last year on vacation is that kind of seems like when we started, but we'd actually done it a few times before that, and I couldn't remember when we exactly started.
For those who don't understand, we meet Aunt E and her family and our mom, at the beach usually every year, and we rent a big house and I'll go to the beach together because we don't live near each other. So we brought all of our equipment with us to the beach house last year. It was like our 4th or 5th show or something.
Yeah, we were just like sitting up there.
Yes. And also I forgot to say this to the real Me Too. She's become a very good friend and I really appreciate her.
Yeah, she's a great lady. She's great.
And she got to meet Aunt E and they got to talk all their geeky Murdoch stuff.
She brought me a special surprise. So
and R. Taylor renewed her membership. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You guys are so awesome to us.
And we got to read her letters, which I'm not gonna. I'll let her say what the letters are.
Did you see what Romy 2 put up?
I'm so far behind. Let me see.
I'll put it up.
Oh,
that is so sweet.
Thank you.
That is the sweetest thing ever. And I didn't get to the mailbox today. I'll check it tomorrow.
It was great meeting you too. I'm so excited to have your number now so we can chat.
And if there's another Alex Murdoch case, you two are going together, right?
We're going together. Yes. We're putting it in the books.
Well, we won't keep you guys much longer. We'll wrap it up for tonight. I do want to play our super chat song because it's kind of somber right now, to be quite honest.
Yeah. We've had some great super chats tonight.
Here's Seth. Speak of the devil. Hi, Seth.
Hey, Seth. Good to see you.
I didn't want to say unless you told.
Oh, he missed all the bragging we did on him.
Mm-hmm.
talking about how nice he was.
We said you were respectful. The only time that I felt like Seth was disrespectful is when I was fasting and he texted me chili pictures.
He did.
He
Yeah.
did. And the other day, we went over to meet everybody for lunch, and we were fasting once again.
Mhm.
And we had a break in our work day, and Betty took a huge bite out of her burger and just looked at me. It was so funny.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
Ivy League nurse. I don't know about the cowboy gang. It must be something I've missed in the Murdaugh case, unless that's a new theory. But I don't. But I don't think.
I
there's
think
any,
you should just start a Murdaugh channel.
I might have to. Me and Real Me Too could definitely do a Murdaugh channel. Betty did a lot on the Murdaugh trial too, I think.
Real Me Too says I shared my letters from OJ's Simpson's mother-in-law, Nicole's mom, and they were very interesting.
They were
We
very
got to read
interesting.
them. Oh, thank you. I got time today. That's very sweet of you. And thank you for being a member for 5 months. Real Me Too is on board.
Yeah, we are on it. I'm going to have to check out the cowboy gang.
Okay, allegedly innocent says whoever that is pled guilty a few weeks ago. I don't even.
Days ago.
What did I say?
Weeks.
Who is that person?
What case?
Perfectly Imperfect Woman says that she'll be the first subscriber. That's awesome.
That case is an amazing case. It really is.
Oh, everybody wants you to start one. You should.
You should just do it.
Okay,
You should do it because you're obsessed with it too, and you drive me nuts.
You know as much about it as anybody.
Well, I've watched it all from beginning to end more than once. I can go back and watch it all again. I'm going to have to see what this Lafitte.
You could call it Auntie's Obsessed. And it can be with whatever you're obsessed with. Yeah. And then you could bring on people and talk about whatever your current obsession is.
Look,
like
everybody in the chat wants you to do it.
Oh, the bank fraud. Yes. Russell Lafitte. Yes. I didn't know that's how you spelled his last name. I heard his name a lot. But yes, he pled guilty in federal court to conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Yes.
I see.
And he was in basically Murdaugh and him were accomplices in the wire fraud where they're transferring money illegally and shifting it around.
Allegedly innocent. Just put that in chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
She typed all that up. And then
thank you. Yes. Okay. Yes. I guess it was
there.
the name. I didn't realize. I always thought he called him Lafitte. Like I was thinking like Lafayette, and so that it just didn't trigger with me the spelling. Because I watched it all on TV and really didn't like read about it. I just saw it. And yes, that's interesting. I have to go catch up on that.
Speaking of things that we both have been obsessed with. I heard Brittany J mention Fatal Vision.
No way.
Yeah,
Fatal
I thought we were the
Vision.
only ones that knew Jeffrey
that
McDonald.
That was probably one of the very first murder cases that
Do you
I
still
followed.
have the book, or did you get rid of it?
I think I sold it when I moved.
I've heard
it was a Jeffrey McDonald.
It is fascinating.
Murder. It is a fascinating murder. It was crazy. He tried to say these hippies that were like the
Manson hippies.
Manson murder hippies came in and killed his wife and children.
2 children, and then
his wife was
pregnant.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But he was a surgeon in the army.
But the way they
was
the
crazy.
way they figured it out though is just
they
were
time,
beyond their years with forensic evidence.
Yes, the forensic
evidence. Maybe we should talk about it. It's so good.
It is. And he, as far as I know, he's still in jail too. I believe he's still in jail.
And what was interesting is every family member, this is how they were able to track it. Every family member in that house had a different blood type.
Yep. And they were
fascinating.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
Thank you, Spirit Seeker Squad, for the super sticker too. That's very sweet of you. We appreciate that. And Detroit Rock City is now a member for 6 months, and thank you so much for that. And my heart and prayers are with you and Middle E.
Thank you so much for being a member for 6 months. And then GTO guy became a member.
The murders were in February of 1970. And actually, I think her father was instrumental in just continuing to keep them on the case and basically the reason that it got solved.
And if you guys want to read the book, it is Fatal Vision is the name of it. And they actually made the reason we got interested in it is they made a mini series on NBC, I believe.
I think it was. It was
And
a long time ago.
It was Carl Malden as the father,
Mhm.
and the guy that played the Brady Bunch dad as Jeffrey McDonald.
No.
Yes, it
Not the
was.
Bra-
I bet you $1 million.
Robert Reed?
No, in the movie. In the movie.
Yes.
What's his name?
I've got to look it up.
I think we've kind of got some ideas about different ways to do some stories that are like that out there. Maybe that's one we could do.
Oh,
'Cause we've
it's
been talking about it.
fascinating. It's fascinating.
Like,
It was.
yeah, we've kind of we got to get past our kind of family crisis here.
Yeah, we do.
But we do have
That
things
one
we've been
excites
wanting
me,
to do
It
with
was
the
Gary
channel.
Cole. His name was Gary Cole.
Gary
But-
Cole. And Susie, she wasn't on the couch. She was in the bed.
He was on the couch.
He was on the couch, and he also stabbed himself.
Yes.
But the wounds were so superficial, they knew that they were not.
Yeah, she was in the
right.
bed.
And he wrote PIG in blood on the headboard.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he
There was
made
a-
it look like a Manson type of thing and said it was a bunch of hippies on LSD.
And they actually found the traces of his surgical gloves where he took them off there. They found fibers from his nightshirt it was fascinating. It's just
Yeah,
fascinating.
if you want to watch the miniseries though, it's really good. I'm sure you can find it on Amazon or something, but it's
I
really
doubt
good. It was the novel came out in 83 and I think the movie came out in like 84 or 85.
Oh, GTO guy wants you to do the 10,000 page RFK file.
Oh, that's pretty good too.
I haven't heard it. I heard they came out. I hadn't looked to see if there was a lot of interesting stuff in there or not. But
Okay, I'm writing that down. Ivy League nurse.
Oh, he says 88,000, not 10,000.
oh, it's 88,000 pages.
Let me see.
Yes, that's true. Opinionated.
All right, I got a picture of that, so I'll look it up. The Walterboro Cowboys in the Murdaugh case. I will look that up. I don't know how I don't know about that because I thought I knew everything about that case.
I mean, she really does think she knows.
Whew. I'm telling you guys, you really need to watch it. It's amazing.
It's funny because I'll get like messages from people saying, "Don't be mean to Aunt E." And we talked about this the other day.
I know, that's so funny.
We've been sisters our whole life. And this is how we've always talked to each other. And if she really didn't like it, she'd tell me. Not like it, but if she really had a problem with it, she'd tell me, and she wouldn't wait till after the show. So don't worry.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, I would.
Oh yeah, we met Eric with an H too, remember?
Yeah, that's right.
And his wife, very sweet people,
Yeah,
very
very good.
sweet. We missed some things here. So we had some people come giving us presents.
Oh, we have a super sticker.
Did you do I Got Time today? I missed you guys still praying for your family. Thank you so much. I Got Time today. We appreciate you. And thank you for being a member for 5 months. That means a lot to us.
Did you see GTO guy, new member?
Well, I think GTO guy renewed, maybe.
Thank
But
you,
Okay,
either
GTO
way,
guy.
thank
And
you
then
so much. We
Spirit
appreciate you.
sticker, super sticker.
And what was the sticker? What was the sticker?
Oh, I don't know. I can't see it on this end.
I'll find it. I'll find it. Hold on. We need to.
Ooh.
And Detroit Rock City says, my heart goes out to Middle E. Spirit Seeker gave us a thumbs up. Thank you so much. And if you guys would give us thumbs up, that is helpful for the algorithm. We appreciate that. Detroit Rock City has been a member for 6 months. My heart and prayers are with you in Middle E. Thank you so much. Why is it not showing up on here?
Texas Plain. Oh,
Sorry.
it's all right.
Go ahead.
I was.
Thank you so much, Detroit.
Texas Plain James just said you guys should check into the J. Kelly Pinkerton, Johnny Frank Garrett, T. Cullen Davis, and Katrina Moyer. Katrina Moyer's mother was one of my teachers in high school.
I want to take a picture of that
It's
one.
wild when you have a.
Okay, got that one.
Also, I heard some fantastic news today. Are you ready?
We'll take
Aunt E?
fantastic news.
I already told you.
Oh, what?
Young Guns 3 is getting
Whoa.
made. And it's going to be about the guy who claimed to be Billy the Kid.
Oh, cool.
Oh, because he's, Emilio Estevez is now at the age that guy would have been when he went to go try to get his name cleared and get pardoned. There was a man that went to, in his 60s, went to get pardoned,
Yes.
saying,
yes.
I'm Billy the Kid and I want the governor to pardon me. And he made this big hoopla about it. And they said, you're not Billy the Kid. Billy the Kid was shot years ago, blah, blah, blah. And he swore up and down he was Billy the Kid. So they're making a script. They're going with the original writer of the first Young Guns.
Oh,
and
wow.
they've written a script and they're going to do it.
That'd be neat.
Isn't that exciting?
That is exciting. Did you get to see the interview with the Breakfast
Yes.
Club? I saw almost all of it, but I got to finish it. But I thought that was pretty awesome too.
It was really
Yes.
good, actually. It was really,
Yes.
really good.
Just
it
to
was
see them
excellent.
all together. Yeah.
It's
And
the love
I
they
thought-
have for John Hughes. Every
Yes.
one of those people have
The
so much
respect.
affection and respect for John Hughes. It's insane.
I guess I didn't realize either that Molly Ringwald and what's the other guy's name? The younger one from Weird Science.
Anthony Michael Hall.
Anthony Michael Hall. I didn't realize they were so much younger than the other cast.
They were.
Yeah. I mean,
They
they're like
said-
16, 17 years old. And then the rest of them were 21.
Right.
Or
And they
22.
they would
And I
all
was
go out on the weekends. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I thought that was really interesting, but just the fact that they were like, there couldn't be a remake, that the world doesn't exist like that anymore, and some of the comments they made about that movie, I just thought was really, really cool.
It is Emilio Estevez, actually, because he was talking about it, and he was saying that there was
Yes.
this kind of like retro trend for nostalgic movies, and he's like, well, if I'm going to do something, let's do this. So that's the project he wanted.
And
Yeah.
I think he's directing it, but he's
Oh,
getting the
wow.
original writer.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
So that'll be fun. And the original was good.
Yeah, that was
all
a
right.
great movie.
Do we want to go?
Well, I mean, I
Because we
could
were
talk
trying-
80s movies
Well, we
all
need
night.
to do our we need to do our videos. We had some
Let's do our
super
videos.
stickers and some super
We gotta-
chat.
Oh,
We do have an early morning. so
hey,
we should
one Mad
go.
Gina says his name is Brushy Bill.
Brushy Bill.
That's right. He had scars in the same places as Billy the Kid, and and several men who knew him signed affidavits swearing he was Billy the Kid. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry,
really
I get
cool.
I
excited
remember
about
Brushy Bill. I remember the name.
westerns for some reason. I love westerns.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And Buddha Belly says, I think they are filming in here in New
Ooh,
Mexico. That
don't
would be
tell
so
me.
cool.
Gosh, you know me. I like to go on watch them film stuff.
Oh
so.
my gosh.
Oh.
In NHGG prayers tomorrow, Justin sent out a prayer request.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
always been
thank
super
you.
awesome.
Justin is 1 in a million, I'll tell you.
Yeah, he's been
Thank
super
you
sweet.
so much. He is super sweet.
Tennessee nurse is like, what's that?
Oh, well, hold
I
on.
was saying,
Hold on. You guys don't even understand.
did you just bring up the movie Weird Science? I just walked back in. Y'all took it way back. I love it.
Yeah.
You have no idea. We almost should have a challenge between Aunt E and me, or Aunt E and I against the world, because
Yeah.
nobody would be able to beat us on 80s movie and TV trivia.
Well,
I don't think.
there's your members only next trivia.
Ooh, beat the
80s.
E's.
Beat the E's. We need a game show.
No, it
format.
needs to be in a game show format. Yeah, it's not fun if we're just doing it the way. No, it's got to be in
I'll
a
do it
game
a different
show.
way.
You have to be the host.
Okay.
Because I did 80s trivia.
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
But I don't think anybody will beat us, and they'll be sad.
Well, I did win on my cruise. That I won the 80s music trivia on my cruise.
I win every cruise. It's
I'm
not
sure
just
you
one.
did.
I have trophies. from
And I threw
trivia.
my trophy away when I moved.
Yeah. We got all 50. We were on a Disney cruise once, and we were in this thing where you had to do movie lines. They had 50. We got them all right.
Wow.
We got 50 out of 50.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm good. And then we could do a 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, because
You
we're
could
good at that.
when all the 80s sitcoms. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We're doing good. Sped teacher. We went earlier than normal because we have an early
MRI.
MRI tomorrow morning, so we wanted to kind of do it a little earlier than normal.
Yeah. We weren't supposed to go live till 8, but then we realized we have to be at the hospital really early in the morning for our son's MRI. So
Well, let's do our videos because we've had a lot of super
Okay.
chats and all that stuff, and we want to make sure everybody gets recognized.
Well, what would you like to do first? Super chat?
Super chat.
Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat.
Okay. Now, this is for, we had a couple of super stickers. I think Mandy was one and Mel, who was the other?
Cindy Lou.
Mm.
And
All right.
GTO guy.
No, those are super chats.
Oh, I didn't hit those. Well, what they're going to get recognized on super stickers.
Okay, here we go. Same song. Hold on.
One more time.
Thank you for your super sticker. 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 Thank you for your super sticker.
Okay, and one more for our new members.
Welcome to the dog pound. Your crime dog now. Members only. Welcome to the dog pound. Your crime dog now. Members only. Welcome to the pound. Members only. Bow wow 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 wow. Doo doo doo. Doo doo.
That was really more for K-Mac because I know she likes that one.
Yeah.
All right. Rob, we have a MRI with our son tomorrow, and hopefully once we get past all that, and we are praying for clear results. Once we do that, then I believe that we will be able to schedule it. I have it already made in StreamYard, and I have for a while. We just have not been able to find time to do it. So, but I actually like this idea, but I'm not sure how. I don't know. Maybe is there a way to have our members come up with our questions? That would be kind of fun. Kind of stump us.
They could, yeah, stump the E's.
Yeah.
To think of how to do that.
That might be fun. Yes, Sped Teacher. We did watch Jennifer Coffindoffer's today. Or, well, I watched part of it, and he watched part of it, and she watched part of it. We all watched it separately.
I caught most of the end,
It's
and
good.
I thought it was good, but I think she kind of has that pain in her deep inside her, is afraid that it's going to go cold, and as we all are kind of afraid of that, but we also know that there's still things happening every day.
Hi, Ash Cash. I've been meaning to recognize you. She said the doggies are cute, and Little Fig says, "Love it." Wow, haven't seen these fancy E's. Oh, I know.
I know. It's just all industrial light and magic over here now with our special.
Oh, Alicia Hot Wheels likes Welcome to the Dog Pound. That's her favorite.
Me either, K-Mac.
What?
She said I didn't like the cold case part. I said, no, me either.
No, I don't like that.
Yeah, and it's just it's because you don't. There's no way to know. Really,
Oh.
there's no way to know because it'll be.
I know you have a tender heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean,
we've said that before, though, and then more stuff comes out and things happen. So
Well, I just try to keep the faith because I always say, what did it take? What, a decade to solve Dylan Redwine?
almost, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
So there you go. But it
But-
did get solved, and that's what's important. And thank you guys. I see all your prayers here. Oh, now I might want to go watch that.
Yeah, I have that. They were doing that today.
Oh, I may have to go watch that. Actually,
Yeah.
you know who I watch for that is I watch Allegedly Innocent is who I watch for that because she is absolutely hysterical when she's talking about Lori Vallow.
She does. Yes.
It
it's
is awesome. And actually, I have meant to do this all night. I need to put I would like to put that in there before we leave.
good. Wow. I agree with you on this too, Alicia Hot Wheels. I just pray for the day we all wake up to handcuffs and doors off hinges.
That's what I said. Somebody asked me once if, if I thought that there was a rumor that was happening. And I said, I don't think we're going to know anything until
After the
we'll
fact.
wake up one morning and it'll be done.
Yep.
And
It'll
that's
just be
like
that.
perfect. Boy's mom said, remember, sometimes no news is good news.
Exactly. And this is
True.
It's Electric Avenue on the East Street tonight.
You have no idea how many movies. We had a Betamax and we used it.
Yes, we
You
did.
know, TV and movies.
I loved the beta. I loved going to the video store and getting the videos.
And we would watch it as much as we possibly could before we took it back.
They had a Blockbuster experience here where they actually had a Blockbuster store set up at, I think it was at a fairgrounds here. And you could actually go in and rent the videos and watch them on TVs. And they had a little living room set up where you could watch them. And it was called the Blockbuster experience. And of course, my son went, and he loved it. He thought it was awesome. He took pictures. But supposedly there's still one Blockbuster that's still open.
Did they give you the option between VHS and Betamax?
No, just VHS.
See, that's not cool.
Oh, somebody had a question for Mr. E.
Tennessee nurse.
Mr.
Hi.
E, don't you think a circumstantial case has got to be time consuming and take longer? There's several steps and lots to gather. Yes. Yes, there's an article that someone shared out there on X recently that we're going to. You may not have been here.
She may not have been here. Yeah, we're going to do a whole episode about an article that was shared on X.
That's what I'm going to be working on before our next live, to put that together and kind of what all we think that would take. So I think that'll be an interesting topic.
And then this just made me sad.
Blockbuster is in Portland, Tennessee.
No, not that. Sorry.
Oh, the last Blockbuster is now an Airbnb. I've seen that actually.
They set it up like an Airbnb.
All that somewhere, yes. Yeah, I did. That would be
Blockbuster is still in my hometown, Bend, Oregon. I'm a Tennessee girl now, Detective Mom.
Wow.
Said. I did not know that's where it was.
K-Max says there are okay, who's good? I heard an echo. Okay. K-Max says there are teens out here worried about Sebastian, thinking about him, not just adults are following the case. My kids are no kid-friendly info only. Yes, our kids are worried about him too. It's like he's a member of our family. They do ask about him.
They
still.
do, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do we know anything new? They ask that stuff. Of course, they're not around right now, but anyway, I agree with you.
The sped teacher said her students also ask about him.
Ivy League, I don't know. We just have to see how tomorrow goes.
Yeah.
So hopefully tomorrow will go wonderfully and you'll see us early next week. Right. Or maybe even another time this week. Who knows?
Maybe this week. We just, yeah.
We do it when we can. But we have this time of year is super busy for us. So it'll get better in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I guess we're going to wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much for all your prayers and all your support. I mean, it just really does mean the world to us.
Thank you so much for hanging with us, and we'll be in touch very soon. I guess when we know something, I suppose we'll post.
Thank you, Jackie
People will want to
Taylor.
know.
Oh, that's so sweet. Will you show that? And K-Max says, speak positivity into the universe. We agree.
That's right. Speak it.
Hi, just popping into Sam Love and Andy.
My hair's really not that layered. Actually.
Did you get it? I don't think it's layered.
No, it just curled it.
You got that fancy curling iron now that does that.
Yeah, I just push the button and it does it. Yeah.
I got rid of mine like that because it was like it hurt. So I don't like that.
No, mine's good. Mine doesn't hurt at all. But no, my hair's just kind of a mess, and and I didn't want to wash it and dry it and leave it straight. So I just added a couple curls to it to get through. But thanks.
Well, thank you all. We should go so that we
All
can
right,
get some sleep
love.
because we got to get up
All
super
right.
early. But
All
thank
right,
you
guys.
so
Yes,
much.
I have my
everybody.
green on. This is what I wore to court too. It's my Sebastian, and I've got my Sebastian bracelet on tonight.
And yes, thank you very much, everybody.
Well, prayers to everybody. And don't forget, we have that post on our page if you would like to have a prayer request. And we appreciate you all for joining us tonight. We know you can, you get to choose where you are, and you chose to be with us. And we appreciate you
It
all
is-
so much.
Never take that for granted. We do appreciate y'all being here.
Thank you all again.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
We remember you. We remember you. Ooh. We're still here for you. We'll shine a light for you. We're holding on to hope for you. We remember you. We remember you. Ooh. We're still here for you. We'll shine on